Have you guys ever played a video game before?
Regrettably, yes.
Regrettably.
I beat Super Metroid for the first time.
Oh, no, I saw that. I still have never played Super Metroid. I am very much looking forward to playing through it as well eventually.
Ask me what my one-sentence review is. Ask me how I feel about it.
Curtis, what's your one-sentence review of the smash hit game from, I think, the late 80s, Metroid... Super Metroid. The Super Metroid.
It's the perfect game.
Yeah, hell yeah. Have you played Metroid Dread?
I have not. That's the first one I've played.
That's the one with Carl Urban in it.
Yeah,
that's the one with Carl Urban.
And Cersei Lannister as a very, very great villain named Mawmaw.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great throwback to a joke from
to a joke we
started
made without recording. Yeah, we just had like a 30-minute conversation about movies. We should have recorded it and just only sent it to Mutsky because I'm sure he would have appreciated it.
No, that one was just for us. That was just for us, baby.
Yeah, everyone should see the movie Dread if you haven't, starring Carl Urban and Cersei Lannister.
And apparently The Raid.
Yeah.
And also, everyone should stop listening to this episode right now and watch The Raid and Raid 2 because those movies fucking slap.
It's actually called Raid 4 in Japan.
But yeah, we're not talking about that kind of raid. We're talking about a raid against God, I think. I forget. I forget how shit works in this game. But we're at the end of Final Fantasy 13, which is good for us because we are the Every F and FF podcast. We still got quite a few more Final Fantasies to go, but we're rounding the corner on the end of Final Fantasy 13. I'm Carl Germ.
I'm Curtis Ware.
I'm Alex.
If we don't complete Final Fantasy 13 soon, we will turn into those little sacrifices, those enemies, and we'll have
our focus is to complete this game, so I feel like we would just turn into regular type Seath.
Oh, all right.
Because we do have
I thought we'd be cool Seath. Like,
I thought so too, but we'll see what happens in that respect.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So you remember when we got to Grand Pulse for the first time? I remember being like, yeah, I feel like the writing goes downhill after we get to Grand Pulse and like shit stopped making so much sense. And having beaten this game this weekend, shit just don't make no sense. So maybe y'all can like shed some light on the end of this game for me.
Yeah, to pull the curtain back a little bit, I just finished the game like
half an hour ago.
Half an hour ago. So I haven't had a full amount of time to fully digest it yet. More importantly, I haven't had the time to load up a save file after beating the game and reading all the data logs that I have because...
guess what? You won't get any.
Oh, there's none after?
There's none.
Oh, well, I know that there's more analects as we complete missions, but I guess that doesn't explain the very confusing ending that we're about to get into. But I'm sure someone probably knows. Maybe I don't. This isn't like the last episode of this season. I think we'll also do some roundup on the extra missions.
Yeah, who knows how long it'll take to get through just the Cradle before we get to
it may take us 2 episodes just to get to the end of this game. So
well, yeah, color me surprised when I was streaming this the other day because I was like, oh, we're in the chapter 13, and for some, I don't know when it was said, if it was said at all, or I just imagined it, but I was like, yeah, this game really only has 12 chapters of like playable content, and then 13 is kind of just like the ending or whatever. Like I thought it was just like Final Fantasy VIII's final disc, like you go to the last boss or whatever.
Yeah, Northern Crater.
Yeah, I thought it was. I didn't realize that it was actually quite a long segment of very difficult battles. So I was streaming for like a long time, and then I was like, well, I got to be getting close to the final battle, and nope.
We're inside Sin, basically.
Yeah. We're inside Sin, and instead of only having to win 6 battles of like whatever random things as the camera is just being all goofy, we have to do a lot of traversing through the most interesting hallway that we've seen so far this game.
They saved their most interesting hallway for last, indeed. We did describe how it looks a little bit last time. The only other like thing I kind of thought about or wanted to point out for this time is, and this is another like very tenuous kind of idea, I don't know if it like holds much water, but both ends of this like weird cylinder that we're in have like this weird wall with like gears and like
it's like a clock.
I was gonna say it looks like
the intro screen of Chrono Trigger at the very end, but way more cyberpunk.
I'm glad you all said that because I thought it looked like the inside of like a wristwatch or like a clock, right? Like the actual gears turning. And I was like, well, that's kind of nice because this is like the clockwork mechanism that makes society go is what's in here, right? Like Orphan is the gears of society in a very much a way. And so everything we see is on the face of it, but now we're finally into the machine of that clock. And I was like, okay, that's a nice little like comparison that they're doing there.
There's a lot of 13th hour and like clock motifs throughout this game, I think, too.
Yeah.
So.
This is this is the most important part of any
Seath clock is ticking.
Yeah, this is the most important part of Marty McFly's life because this will be the only way that he can get back to the future from the past and save himself from erasing himself.
He's gotta put the DeLorean.
We have to save the
train.
clock tower.
Oh yeah, that's right. Not that far back in the past.
Oh yeah, no, the train one. Oh man, hell yeah.
I was thinking. Of
I need
the
to rewatch
Western
part
one.
3 because I feel like I would absolutely fucking love it. I remember one time
ZZ Top is in it.
Really? Flea is in it. I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Flea is in 2 and 3 as one of Biff's homies.
Oh wow. Okay.
Or Griff or whatever.
We need Orphan to get the 1.21 gigawatts that we need.
Lassie, grab your spell bags. We will find this fucking orphan and we will kill its fucking ass.
Well, yeah. So last time, like we said, there was these like moving statues that open up these portals that we can take to go back to Eden or Grand Pulse.
These Dark Magician Yu-Gi-Oh statues.
That's right. And we'll do that later after we beat the game. But there's another one that kind of goes off to the side a little bit. There's a couple side pathways that we can take.
Yeah, back at the like center section that we went to, there's like a little spur that goes off.
And if we don't go toward that statue, we can go down the other way and fight a couple of battles and get some extra items. But once we get up to it, basically it kind of unveils the gimmick of this area, of this final area, which is we run up to that statue, it rearranges all the floating platforms in such a way that they're brand new. We run across them, and then it rearranges them again, and over these platforms are rearranged into different shapes and different sizes and different obstacles, and different enemies come out. And slowly over time, we progress from one end of this like weird cylinder that we're in to the other.
Yeah.
I like the vibe that this feels very makeshift because the floor, it doesn't really feel like a floor that was meant for walking on. Sometimes it feels like we're just like jumping over machinery and greebles and stuff. But sometimes there is like sometimes it does look like we're on a red carpet platform that is made of circuit boards or something.
It feels to me like one of the Super Mario Sunshine stages that you have to do without FLUDD or whatever.
It's just the acapella.
Yeah.
yeah, for real. So when I was looking at this area, have either of you guys played or seen Astro's Playground?
I have not.
Is that the PlayStation little thing?
Yeah, it's a really cute game that came out at launch of the PS5, just pre-installed on there. And it's basically just like a tech test or whatever. What are those things called? They're just flexing
demo.
A tech demo, exactly. But it's a really fun little platformer. It's got very charming characters, and basically the premise of like the game, the story of it, is that you are this little robot guy who is inside your PS5, and you go around to different areas like the GPU, which has a fucking banging song, which sounds very YMO, which is great. But you just go to different like areas of the thing, and they designed it to look like you're inside of your PlayStation 5. And I'm like, this area looks like I am inside a Famicom or perhaps a Famicom disk system, because the color scheme is very, very Famicom.
I see it, yeah. There's a couple enemies that I think should get a special mention here. All the enemies here are kind of cool. I like them. There's different versions of ones.
There's some familiar ones and some fuck you
very
strong
tight.
ones.
One of them I wrote down as Final Motorcycle, which is the Aquila Velocycle, which is just a really big motorcycle that we fight that has a really devastating attack, a plasma cannon. It wheelies up, right? I mean, it's floating, so I can't really do a wheelie, but it kind of raises one wheel up, and takes a couple seconds and then fires a plasma beam, and it's an area attack. It doesn't necessarily hit everybody, but it'll hit its target and anybody around them and do like 80% of their HP. So I was just like every time it happens.
Yikes.
It is kind of rough.
I might be misremembering, but in Final Fantasy VII, I may have dreamed this, but was there an enemy that was just like a skeleton on a motorcycle or some sort of skeleton motorcycle?
There was not a skeleton motorcycle. There
was the skeleton boat. Maybe I'm confusing it with that, but I'm just thinking, I'm like, Final Motorcycle, they really missed an opportunity to have a skeleton in there.
Do you think Christopher will be in the FF remake?
God, I hope so. I fucking hope so.
And Giggy or whatever. The
Giggy. I mean, look, they made a Hell House a boss, so I
That's
imagine
true.
they have to.
Oh my god, dude!
I want
the name of the fanfare for Christopher.
What's the name of the dorky kid in a FF remake? Who gives you the
Isn't it just called Dorky Kid?
Chadley, that's it. I would like to see Chadley's arc be that he becomes Christopher.
Oh, I'm thinking of Dorky Face is what I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah, Dorky Face.
I'm thinking of the dorky kid who was voiced by Mandark in the Polar Express.
I like Mandark's the name of the voice actor, the name of the actor.
Listen, I feel bad for anyone who gets typecast. If you did the voice of Mandark and then reprised that as the annoying little snot in the Polar Express starring 1 million Tom Hankses, you're just going to be known as Mandark for me, okay?
Starring 1 million Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's in that shit like I hope they paid him for each character that he portrayed because, my God, he's like everyone in that
delightful.
movie.
Okay, so there's another enemy that I thought was really cool. A unique enemy that doesn't appear anywhere else, I don't think. The Migrim Thresher. That's a big boy. He might be like one of the largest like normal enemies that we face in the game.
Yeah, that's the. Oh yeah, it is. It's like the thing we fought in at Nautilus with Vanille and.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's the same type. I'm not sure if it's the same. Yeah, it's a different color scheme.
That's
that we
right.
fought before we met or saw Dodge again.
He's got a mean ass Gatling gun attack. But all these enemies, I will say, like playing it through this time, obviously we've discussed it a lot through our playthrough. Love having 2 saboteurs. Like I've been playing as Fang and then letting Vanille and Lightning both do saboteur, and they both have Imperil, and it's just like, mwah, love how this makes the game feel.
You have a Lightning doing saboteur?
Yeah, Lightning has some good sab moves.
Ooh, tell me about it, because that's not one that that's one that you have to dip in extra, right?
It is, but she gets Imperil pretty quickly.
That's all you need, baby.
It's all you need. You got fucking Vanille and Lightning throwing Imperil the whole time. She also gets a D-Shell and D-Protect pretty early on. So it's like all the best ones. And so Vanille like kind of concentrates on doing like Fog and Pain and stuff like that while Lightning like holds down the other ones. It's really nice having them both do it.
I'm doing a double sab build as well, but it's Fang and Vanille.
Okay.
So Lightning, I just doing Ravager stuff as that's going on, and then I like switch into having Ravager or Fang and Commando, and then Vanille, since she has like the Marlboro wand or whatever, it's like not guaranteed to like hit something, but it might as well be. So I just have her throwing off the sab stuff.
It's great. Yeah, I love having Vanille with the Marlboro wand. It's so nice.
It's real good.
I've been playing as Fang for the end of it, and all of my paradigms are either just Commando or Sentinel for Fang. Those are the only 2 roles that she fulfills for me. I actually really like taking control of Sentinel because I can determine how many like challenges I do, or like the move that actually makes the enemy target you.
Yeah, like
instead of doing 5 in a row, I just stop the attacks or the challenges or provokes as soon as I see everybody's done. Yeah, and then I just go to the next one. Or if I just want to provoke one certain enemy from doing something, I can just do one. And so I kind of like having control of that, and then leaving Lightning and Vanille to actually do the battle. It's nice.
I wonder if I might want to change up my playstyle a little bit in the missions and maybe use Fang, because I think that sounds like it would be fun. I'm maining Lightning, and it's been working out really well for me.
Lightning's great. I love that like there's no like quote unquote main character, but Lightning just has everything that you need to be able to play the game well.
Yeah, exactly. This game's very interesting that way, where there's so many different strats that you can do, and it's like switching to a different party lead almost feels like you're playing an entirely different game, depending on the roles that they have. And it's like I've been so just deep into like this particular run that I'm like, okay, I don't want to change it up at all because then I would have to learn, and I would probably learn it in like 10 or 15 minutes, if not quicker. But I'm like, I'm just going to focus on this. I'm going to finish it out. But it does make me want to replay the game as a different main for like the second half.
It's Lightning feels the most balanced, maybe because we've been playing as her the most for the first half of the game.
But yeah,
I also feel like the two attacking, she has both of the normal attacking jobs and a healing one, which is like, those are the most important. You know what I mean? Everything else is kind of auxiliary. So Lightning has all of the different aspects of the game that are going to kind of teach you how to get through it.
Yeah,
so
and having medic, I remember I like remembering my words from way back when we first started kind of talking about these roles. Like, I remember being like, I don't want to waste Lightning's time on medic. That seems really bad. And I think, Curtis, you were like, no, she's actually really good as medic. And I've just been using her so much as medic. Like, I have the combat clinic where it's just like the oh shit button where Fang just immediately goes into Sentinel, provokes everything, and then Vanille and Lightning are both like figuring out how to heal. Yeah, and that's really important too, because especially in this late game area, you're going to want to have Asuna, and you're going to want to actually be able to control that, because like there's some things that'll happen to you where you're just like, well, I can't have this status ailment. I need
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, yeah, you're all good.
Speaking of status ailments, how do you pronounce this?
Anathema?
Anathema?
Anathema? I don't know. It's a move.
In Zulu, Google thinks it says he has a fever in Zulu.
I love that Michael Caine movie.
It's a move that the sacrifices have, and boy do they like to use it. It slows you down, like poison you and do crazy shit. It's awful. Hate it when I get hit by that.
Yeah,
because I have all the auto haste on, and they're like, yeah, fuck that auto haste.
Oh yeah,
now you're slow.
I think you spelled it wrong, maybe, Curtis. It's anathema. I think it's anathema.
Okay,
but I could be wrong.
I probably did. I think you're right.
That shit sucks. Like, you can get a lot of different... these things also cast death, I believe, right?
They sure do.
Sacrifices. So, I don't know. I didn't get a clear answer on it, I don't believe. But I think the way that death works, if you're controlling Vanille, you get more of a percentage chance for every like status ailment that the enemy has. I don't know the specific math of it, but if you have like...
it's like a Pokeball.
Yeah, if you have like a bunch of stacked...
Pull up and B at the same time.
Yeah. If you have an enemy that just has a bunch of status ailments, they're more likely to actually die from death. And I'm wondering if it works the same...
More likely to die from death. What a sentence. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Even death may die. But... I wonder if this works the same way mechanically for them, where they hit you with anathema, and then you have like several status ailments deep, and then they're casting death, and you're like, oh no, like. Apparently, like I think Zwanzig was saying that it seems like the death from these enemies never really seem all that one hit KO. It's more so the damage that it does, because it works the same way as Vanille's. But yeah, I don't know.
It does happen occasionally, yeah. It's pretty rare that they cast death on you and it actually kills you, but it does happen.
Could you imagine there being a one-hit KO move that can just hit you and kill you immediately?
I sure can, and we'll get to that.
I'm excited to talk about that, because oh my God.
I didn't get to see yours. Just FYI, listener, Garl did just beat the game like he was saying. I went and got food while he was beating the game, so I actually did not see his final boss. So excited to get there.
I'm very excited to talk about that. But we're kind of just running around these different platforms. Area's very cool looking.
Speaking of the sacrifices, I kind of forgot, but like looking at them, maybe just because I was reviewing some old stuff, but Sid, when he's in his like boss phase, has the same arm as one of these sacrifices.
It's very interesting.
I just feel like, oh wow, this is a weird new design, but like actually we've seen this design before, just in a different context. So it's the Lindsay thing.
Yeah, there's like the varying types of Seath.
I mean, this is what Lindsay's Seath look like, and the ones that we're used to are all pulse Seath.
Maybe.
I think we also kind of find out a little bit more about focuses, or foci, as it were. I think I wonder too, like... The type of focus that the sacrifices have that we've talked about are literally like, you have no focus and you are now just a Lassie, so you are immediately in Seath Town. that makes sense with Sid as well, where he just
welcome to Seath Town, population U, baby.
He had no like autonomy over himself by the end of it. Like he still was clinging onto his humanity for a while, and his focus was still, he kind of had this alternate focus that he could do himself. But when we had to fight him, when he did that, it was like, okay, I'm rejecting my focus, so maybe that's why he's like half sacrifice Seath.
Sure. Right.
But we saw some things as we're running down this path that immediately filled me with a lot of Carl Urban's dread. More of these Sahagin type enemies.
That's literally what I was getting ready to say.
But they're
like
more dragon
and also
looking.
Yeah, the
Dragonite.
They're Dragonites, yeah.
It's like the only non-Seath, non-mechanical enemy. It's just fucking Sahagin.
They know how to strike fear in your heart.
There are there are those Marauder type enemies, like they're called like the Sanctum Templars or something.
Yeah, those are super sick.
Yeah,
they're cool looking as hell.
They are. I actually didn't think they were as bad as the Marauders.
These Dagonite aren't too bad by themselves if you're fighting like 2 deep or 3 deep, or they weren't for my build at least. But like everything in this game, it kind of drip feeds it to you where you're like, here's the enemy, you're learning what they can do to mess you up, and right now that's completely fine because you can counter it. What if we put that enemy with this other enemy and then it just becomes a real shit show? I forget the specific battle that happened to me, but I was like, wow, fuck these guys.
Yep. Yeah, there's several of them where it's like difficult fights that are paired with also something difficult, and it makes it like,
yeah, that's just like this area in general. And they do it in a really mean way in a little bit that I'm excited to talk about.
Oh my god. The last encounter in this whole area is such a motherfucker.
It's one of the meanest things I've ever seen a game do. I was like, this is
like, whoa, that was a close one. Time to keep moving. Oh fuck. No. They're just like stepping on a rake. Like he's got his buddy now. Like, but the weird thing about this area, we're following these statues that are flying around. Like they just kind of go to an area and you're supposed to reach them. And then they like sometimes summon like a miniature version of a phal-C that we've seen, like a carbuncle, just like flying in the air and stuff like that. Does that happen throughout this area? Like I'm not sure what the significance of that is. Like we reach one.
Oh yeah, I don't know either. It
summons a giant carbuncle. Later it summons a
Kujata
as well.
There's a lot of these little phal-C and this like symbolism that pops up and is prevalent throughout this. Yeah, the
Kujata
one's interesting. I couldn't think of what it was. I knew I'd seen it before. I was like, the fuck is that?
It
has like
interesting.
The weird tubes coming from it.
It's kind of interesting because we have some like, I would say like boss fights here. Not like major bosses, I guess, but there's kind of a lot of things that happen where it's like we see
it teleports you into the Tesseract, I think is what they do.
Yeah, like
it turns into the zone, this boss zone.
Because
going to the boss zone.
There seems to be like physical representations of these bosses, and then also like ethereal ones.
Maybe so.
Like because they have like a different color scheme and they seem almost like ghost-like, and then you fight like the physical forms of them as well.
Speaking of which, do you want to get into some of these? I think there's 3 of them. There's 3 encounters. Is that right?
I believe so.
There's one with
2.
Is there one with like a berserker type, a tyrant? I can't remember.
Oh, I just found the
Dagonite.
I just found the Dagonite fight that really fucking sucks, where it's 3 Dagonite and then one of those final motorcycles where like it'll just do like the plasma cannon, and there's just a lot of attacks. Like they can do the rush attack where they all just kind of rush at you, and you can just get like stunned and not be able to do anything.
Okay,
it's just a bunch of like really aggressive enemies at once who can knock you into the air and just knock you off your bearings.
So the first
you mentioned the Thresher. Is that one that was inside these like zones, or is that
no? That's just a guy walking around being
that's just a dude chilling.
The first set, we actually do a set of bosses in between. So basically, like when we get to the end of the area and it's going to do the platform resetting where it reshuffles things around. Sometimes it'll throw us into a boss first. The first time, we fight a double boss of the Bandersnatch and Jabberwocky, which are the same as the bosses that we fought as Saz and Vanille, the Earth Guardian.
On our way out of Sunleth,
Yeah, those gods that we had to fight.
Yep. This
There's
time...
like natural gods that we found out the etymology. I think the etymology of this is Alice in Wonderland, right?
That's right.
Like the Jabberwocky and the Bandersnatch. I mean, is Bandersnatch... Was that created by?
That's made by Netflix.
I'm just wondering, because I know
something before Alice in Wonderland.
I know that Alice in Wonderland has like a lot of things that kind of just became staples in fantasy, like the Vorpal Blade. I'm pretty sure the first instance of that had been in Alice in Wonderland, if I remember correctly.
It looks like that's the beginning of it, yeah.
It all comes from Alice Madness Returns.
The Bandersnatch is a creature mentioned twice by the late author Lewis Carroll in the poem Jabberwocky. So Jabberwocky is the poem itself.
Right.
A nonsense poem, apparently.
These ones, they are very much one tells only the truth and one tells only lies, and that one takes only magic damage and one takes only physical damage, unless you hit that bad boy with Imperil. Boom, 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 boom. Then it works.
Yeah.
Love that spell.
One of them is the father of all lies. The other is the uncle of all tricks.
Wasn't the first time we fought them like they would summon magic, but it would just hurt the other one?
Yeah, if they were close
yeah.
enough. They would do like an area effect around themselves, but they would hurt the other one if they were too close.
That's funny.
These ones are pretty interesting. They'll heal each other once their HP starts being reduced, and they can heal pretty damn fast too. It's like every ATB segment for them is like another heal, another heal, another heal, and they heal a lot. But it's not that bad. The problem I had was my game kept crashing after I beat them, so it took me like 5 tries to beat them and then save. But
like I said in the Discord, sounds like a skill issue to me.
Sounds like a skill issue.
I'm sorry I built your computer bad.
No, it was my laptop. It was my laptop.
Oh.
You built my desktop. Great.
Yeah, they have a move called Breath of the Beast, which
that one does hurt a lot.
Yeah, you gotta avoid that if you can, because I'm just watching now as I got game overed from it because the lightning was just like right there. I was kind of just going all in, guns a-blazing, but it's like Calameet's breath attack in Dark Souls, where you're just like, well, I'm just dead now.
Yeah, even like I had at this point I had maxed out pretty much my normal Crystarium and was working on the specialty ones. So in other words, like Fang had, her Sentinel and Commando and all that stuff, and then was working on like Ravager.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Ravager Fang. I wish.
Yeah, it wouldn't quite kill me in one, but it would put me in critical. So it's pretty devastating.
Yeah, luckily these guys, like we said, are susceptible to a lot of things. So I had like Deep Protect, Poison, Slow, Imperil, and then like once it got staggered, it was just like tore through the Jabberwocky, and then I just had to work on the Bandersnatch. So I just pretty much focused all of my attention on one of them, and then the fight became pretty easy after that.
Okay.
I love these areas that we fight in, because when we fight these bosses, we're teleported to
the church attic.
It's basically like the atrium that we entered the Cradle in that fell apart, but it's like much more cool instead of warm looking.
Yeah,
these like carved wood in the walls and these beautiful stained glass windows.
Yeah, I would like to look closely at these and kind of see what the stained glass things are portraying.
Oh yeah, maybe,
if anything. I mean, I could also just be kind of reading into it too much and wanting there to be something there, and there not actually being anything there.
There's probably stuff in there. What does this guy say? I
am a bit of a sucker for Final Fantasy endgame content that puts you in a, like, I don't know how to describe it other than saying a zone.
I was going to say, it puts you in a zone.
It puts you in a zone. I love a zone at the end of a Final Fantasy game.
The artist just says the stained glass depicts important things related to the crystal myth.
Nice.
So
the crystal myth.
I mean, that's probably just the translation.
I'm sure it'll be
the Crystallis like lore stuff. Like, all the gods. There's Etro and probably stuff like that in here.
The crystal myth is Breaking Bad.
Crystal myth. Oh. Whatever I was going to say is not going to be as funny as that. So, no, that was much better than what I was going to say. So, they're not too bad. We have to watch out for that the breath move, but
and their other ultimate attack, which is crash Curtis's computer.
Yeah, that's right. But the second set of boss fights, this motherfucker. Ooh, I hate him so much.
Is the immortal is that in one of these boss fights, or is that an optional one that you can kind of bypass if you wanted to? Or is that's the one that has the blade?
You mean the Undying?
No, the immortal being the like berserker type enemy. That thing's.
I forgot. That I think that is a fight that's. I forget where it lies, but I'll call
that's
it
in the overworld. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Vladislaus. Is the one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Modest
the
Mouse?
W lad.
Yeah, W lad. Yeah,
because he keeps collecting W's off of you because he's fucking a jerk.
Oh, what a dick! This guy took me like 6 or 7 tries. Although I will say, I started to realize what he was doing, and so the battle is totally winnable if you know what he is doing. And then like once you get his pattern, it's like, okay, now I know what I have to do. No problem. But it took me a while to realize exactly what was happening in this battle.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that after beating the Bandersnatch and Jabberwocky, Fang just in the incidental dialogue just goes, "Meh, that was easy."
Awesome.
But we do hit a bit of a cutscene after that where we get to another part of the Tesseract and we see all the cool.
Oh, we'll talk about Vladislaus in a second. Then put him aside.
There's a lot of really cool like platforms that are coming out and stuff, and it all looks really good. But
Yoming.
Where's this end?
If there is one, I can't see it.
I can't do this. All these Seath were people once. Like us.
But that's what Barthandelus is going for. Don't you see? Make us feel guilty, lose faith. And the second we give up, it's focus time.
What does Hope mean by this? Because, wait, it's already focus time, and if when we give up,
I
we
think
turn
like the
into Seath,
Barthandelus focus of killing Orphin, like
we're on our way to do that currently.
I think
and we
we're
haven't
not
given
on our
up
way
yet.
to kill Orphin.
I thought we were on our way to fight Bart.
We end up.
We're going towards Daisley.
Yeah,
we're going for Daisley.
our focus is to kill Daisley. Daisley wants our focus to be to kill Orphin.
But wouldn't you think that the second we give up, we would turn into Seath?
I think that's what I was expecting. I think when he said that, I heard it in my head as it's Seath time. But focus time, it gets really muddy, especially because there's, as we've kind of alluded to in previous episodes, there's multiple foci that are happening like simultaneously, and they don't really match up, and it's very confusing.
I'm guessing maybe it's the type of thing where like Barthandelus is trying to break us down and kind of make us complete the focus he's given us, kind of out of mercy instead of like, our quote unquote selfish errand that we're doing.
So my whole take on this whole thing, this conversation, it brings up another.
Wait till we're broken, then slip on the leash is like what Snow says after.
Yeah, exactly. And Saz goes on and says, well, when you think about it, having all this empathy, it puts us humans at a big disadvantage. And Lightning says, maybe, but it's also what makes us dangerous.
I love that. No, that's a great line.
But an interesting thing that I was thinking about just through all this, like Vanille points it out, she's like, yeah, I feel bad killing all of these Seath. This is something that we talked about pretty much immediately when we first were introduced to the Seath, because they were once people, and now we're just kind of killing them. But the other interesting thing is we're on our way to prevent the focus that Barthandelus wants us to have, which is have all of this go either by killing Orphin or causing enough bloodshed between like the cavalry and killing a bunch of people on Cocoon. And I'm like, for every Seath that we killed, they're technically humans. Do they not get added to the count for Orphan's like chalkboard or whatever? Where it's like, well, we're
do
slaughtering.
They not open Etro's Gate a little longer?
Yeah, we're slaughtering people. They're like enemies. Like we have no choice. But like, is that for Etro's Gate? That just doesn't count. Like, where's the line on this? It's getting real muddy.
And on the side, we see like Fang is kind of sulking again, and Vanille checks up on her.
Fang? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Just that time's running short.
It's okay. My mind's made up this time. We'll just make Cocoon our home.
Yeah, I guess we will.
It's fine. Like we've like lost our past,
Yeah.
We might have lost Pulse, but we can. We have a new family, like Fang said earlier. And Fang says, "Yeah, I guess we will." And that's the end of that.
I do like that.
Yeah, it's really nice.
But if you scroll down, I actually found that there was like some cut. The scene's exactly the same except for the last two lines, in which Vanille says, "Oh, let's live together,"
Aww.
which is like really cute. Like
as cousins in the English version,
roommates.
Yeah, we're roommates and nothing more.
So it's interesting that there's just that one line is just changed for them.
I feel like the way that definitely the way that the cinematics are, it definitely seems to imply that there's a deeper relationship, like a romantic relationship between Fang and Vanille, which I don't know if it's just like a localization thing where they were just like, oh, we're going to Sailor Moon it and just not have that be a part of it for a stupid reason. But yeah, it seems like in the version that we're playing, it's not really implied that they have any kind of, like, it's not explicitly stated, but it seems heavily implied in my reading of it, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So yeah, we keep walking. I guess
Now we get to the boss. We fight Vladislaus.
We come up with like another weird interstitial thing where like it changes the map again. I think it summons the sun Falsi, I think. Because those two dark mages come out. It kind of changes the map where it looks like a bunch of gears and hexagons, and we can kind of like go around different ways if we want.
Yeah, which took me a while to figure out what was going on, because like when you get to the thing that will like tell...
Oh no, it's the bulkhead Falsi. It's the one we saw at fucking Gapra.
Yeah.
Okay.
This area is
that's where the Immortal is guarding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Immortal. So the Immortal is just blocking a lot of really good loot. It's completely optional. But
the Immortal. You mean the real big tyrant guy? The final tyrant.
Yeah. The final
tyrant. That guy. That's right.
Immortal, the metal band.
The punished tyrant.
Immortale. He's not too bad, but I feel like I did lose to him once because I didn't.
But he's gold.
I didn't respect the blade. Like, I was like, I don't need to worry about this blade.
You always must respect the blade.
You have to respect the blade. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I can stagger and beat him before the blade kills me. But the blade can kill you in like 2 hits. So
yeah, I feel like I learned that lesson the hard way against the tyrant. So I was like, I'm gonna take down the blade and then focus on him. And he can reforge that blade a bunch though. So I was able to kill him the second time before having to take out the second blade that he brought out. But
oh yeah, this is the part where the Thresher is too. So there's a few of those around.
Yeah,
annoying. Just bosses becoming normal enemies.
Classic. You love to see it.
Bosses becoming enemies, men becoming wolves.
But yeah, there's more of those weird Sahagin type enemies. There's more Threshers. But yeah, then we eventually come up on
after the Immortal. It gives you an option to warp to the upper level, and I was like, oh, maybe that means that like that's the end of it. Like I have a shortcut, because you look around and you see all these other very difficult enemies that like unbranching paths. So I was like, oh, maybe let me go and look around and make sure that I didn't miss anything before I do that. And then I think I eventually was like, fuck it, I can just always backtrack later. And went through it, which is good because it just brings you to upper levels where there's not really any fights. I don't think you just literally just run around and open a bunch of chests that have really, really good loot.
Yeah, I think we keep going and we come across...
Oh, we get the weirding glyph up here, which is the Benny Gesserit weirding way. I think that's just a good... yeah, it'll increase your magic by 150. So I equipped that shit immediately on Vanille.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, now this is where we come up on the gets zooped to that by those goddesses to the Dark Souls boss fight.
Oh my god. With fucking Artorias.
Wladsless.
Oh, wait, real quick.
Vladislaus.
Real quick, before we get there, sorry, I'm a little slow with it, but we get a unique item here.
Oh, do we?
Not unique to this game, not unique to Final Fantasies, but unique to... Or I guess it is unique to this game is what I mean to say. We get an elixir if we beat the Immortal.
Oh, really? I did not even notice.
And the elixir... It's the only one that I have in my inventory. There might be other ways to get it, but it will fully restore the party's HP and TP. So that is like extremely, extremely good and like potentially broken. Like if you had a lot of these, it would trivialize pretty much every boss fight because you could just summon to your heart's content. And
I do like that they've saved it for the end of the game. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I was very excited to see that. And then I immediately forgot about it and never used it. Maybe I might have to use it in some of the missions.
I didn't even realize. I didn't realize it was there.
Ladislaus. It's a Hungarian name, maybe, or Polish. There's a few different kings that were named Ladius.
Yeah, the etymology in the wiki says it was the name of several Polish monarchs and is a variation of the Slavic name Vladislav.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate the How to Pronounce channel that just has like text-to-speech.
I know the one you're talking about.
Ladislaus.
But yeah, this guy's an asshole.
He's a ninja. He's like a samurai.
He's super cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his weird he's technically got one able arm, right? And then his left arm looks like it has like a giant hand and like with no arm sticking out of it.
Yeah.
So it's just these like fingers sticking out. It's real nasty.
The giant hand enemy in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Just on his back.
Yeah.
It's really cool design.
But he's holding like
it's real nimble.
Like a katana behind him.
Yeah, like a Melania katana.
Yeah. And his thing is he doesn't have a lot of different moves. aside from his normal attack, he only has one ability, which is mounting contempt. And fuck that move. That shit sucks.
That move is, I think, both his biggest like offensive thing, but also one of his bigger weaknesses, because if you see that, it takes him a while to mount that contempt. He'll start like charging up and doing like a cool like stance to get ready to fuck you up. But anytime I saw mounting contempt after this, because spoilers, we're gonna have to fight a couple of these, I would just switch right on over to combat clinic, heal up as much as possible, and just have Fang provoke him so that he would only hit her and not kill her. And then it was just like, okay, like you fool, you showed me your hand.
Yeah, because the thing
when
was,
you're
if I
coming into this
wasn't-
blind, I got fucked up by this guy.
What one mounting contempt, and again, I had like almost max stats for where I'm able to be right now. One mounting contempt is a one-hit KO for any of my party members. Like, it just kills you instantaneously. So, and the mounting contempt, while it does take some time, it's not so much time that you have enough time to put in like multiple turns of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I had to go
It's
in,
like,
challenge immediately, and immediately metagard, like as soon as I saw mounting contempt pop up, and that would give me just enough time to get it off.
Yeah, my strategy with this kind of became make sure he's like looking at Fang and like kind of prioritize that, so that if he's doing mounting contempt, then we can switch her back into Sentinel and stuff. And he's fast too. Like, it's not just like, oh, okay, well, we survived mounting contempt, now we can just, you know, we got like 2 minutes to get back at him. No, he's still rattling off attacks, so you need to stay on top of like healing your party up as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I was playing as Fang, so like if I didn't get it off fast enough, I would just die. It would just be the end of it. So the thing I found, and I don't know if this is consistent, but it worked consistently for me. He always did 3 physical hits and then mounting contempt. So I always knew exactly where I was. So after the third swing, I was just like, okay, now change. Or like,
Curtis is cheating by using
strategy.
How dare you?
But that's how I eventually figured out how to handle him. And after that, he wasn't so bad. But it is just like, oh, if you're not ready for it, if you're not sentineled up, it's just a one-hit KO.
Yeah, like this is a very tough single battle. I think I game overed it the first attempt that I did, and then I kind of went in with a little more knowledge. I took it a little more safe and was able to get through. And I was like, oh, cool, I got 5 stars. That's a really cool fight. I like that fight a lot. That's a cool, fun challenge. Cool. Really nice. Cool, we got teleported to a new area. And
glad it's over.
Yeah, I'm glad that's over. Let's make our way up this weird ramp. And
oh yeah, this is when it summons or the weird statue thing brings into
Kujata.
It looks like the final boss area from Dirge of Cerberus for a second, because we're just in a big cube room that it just summons around
it does make a cube, yeah, we have to walk up.
But then the top of the ramp is Valadius again.
Yeah, just fucking chilling there, standing next to a goddamn marauder. And this is kind of where
Templars,
this is kind
they
of
don't move, so you can't like lure them. You can't manipulate them to walk around them.
But did you know that you can dodge this, or you can completely dodge this fight?
Can you dodge this fight?
Oh, really?
I did it like by accident after I was already like, well, I want to beat this fight anyway. Like, it's not so hard that it's like the worst, but I when I like already made the choice of like, I'm going to be at this fight, I realized that you can just kind of cut the corner near the W lad and just get past him. And it was funny too, because I ran up and then I started running back, and Vanille was still in between both of them, like running in place. And I was like, no, Vanille, no, get out of there.
Oh yeah, I forgot who has the smallest encounter balls from my research.
Right.
Oh, right.
So you got to make sure those balls don't touch.
This was a moment where I had been streaming for a little while, kind of expecting it to just be the final boss fight. I was like 2 hours into a stream, and I got to this segment after struggling a little bit with Wladislaw, and when I saw them up there, I was just like, I'm done for today. I'm gonna pick this up later. I am not gonna bang my head against this fight, and I'm glad I did it that way, because it was much more enjoyable of a fight to kind of have some space between it. Luckily, there is a save spot right here too.
I cheated this one in the way that Vladislaus. So like, you know when you like Deceptisol or you stagger somebody, when you Deceptisol, when you get the preempt on them, it takes them up like 1% before stagger, and most enemies have like 200% stagger or whatever.
Him.
His stagger is 999.
His stagger is non-existent.
It's maxed. So if you Deceptisol him, when you enter the battle, you're already doing 1000% damage. So you just hit him once and it does like solid 9s and just kills him.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
He's ultra dead.
That's the main thing I wanted to talk about on that fight too, because like my whole plan for everything else is like get him up to stagger as fast as possible, use army of 1 to really increase the damage that you can do while he's staggered, and then just go from there.
Sure.
So, and on him, I never staggered him once.
Yeah, it's maxed out. He has
you need a preempt. That's a really good strat. Especially now we can buy Deceptisols for the low price of like
fucking so expensive.
30,000 gil or 300,000 gil or whatever the fuck.
And then there's one more boss battle as well.
Real quick, I think
go ahead.
As we're like running up here, there's like this did you guys see that blue thing? I think we might have talked about it, like it might be what the Dark Magician summons in.
It's a Dahaka, right?
That's Dahaka? Oh yeah, I guess the second form of Dahaka.
The Fal'Cie from Uriday.
Yeah, the power plant one.
Yeah, it looks like a big old...
I didn't realize that's what it was until you said that. And I was like, I guess that is Dahaka.
Let me see. Yeah,
We've never really seen Dahaka as the thing.
We see it briefly in the flashbacks.
It's the thing it's the thing that's floating there and kind of looks like a drum key.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Okay, is that Dahaka? Okay.
It looks like
the one you were talking about was earlier. I think the one that looks more like a drum key is...
oh, you mean the carbuncle one?
Yeah, the carbuncle one.
Oh,
right?
okay.
The spinning with the two
so
faces.
So just a Fal'Cie
that's the first
one there. Okay.
Yeah, they keep summoning it in Fal'Cie as we're going through for some reason.
Yeah.
Like smaller versions of them, like little gotcha versions.
Yeah, I think I didn't quite notice that, and then I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's an enemy that I'm going to have to fight.
Oh, no, not Dahaka. What is it called?
Yeah, Dahaka's the snaky anal bead boy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, what is that? We edit all of that. Go back and edit all of it. Kujata. I didn't look it up. I want you to know that I just pulled that out of nowhere.
Nice.
I pulled that out of my Final Fantasy VI Esper knowledge.
I like how I'm hoping you pulled that out of the wrong thing and we just said the name wrong again. People who actually know this game are like, you fucking idiots.
I know. Everybody's listening to this like.
But yeah, that was Kujata that it brings in, and which looks like hey, look, it's the final boss from the Dirge of Cerberus because we're in a big cube room with this thing.
I do love to be in a big cube room with a thing.
Love it.
I love the top of these stairs. There's a Jabberwocky and Bandersnatch again.
Yeah, there is.
You can get 5,000 gil along the way after the fight with the fucking.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like here's $5, kid. Don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah. I'm just gonna sell one of the perfumes. The sacrifices keep dropping.
Yo, hell yeah! I love. Not only do I love that item because you can sell it at a premium, but I love just
You love smelling good.
The sadness. Like the whole idea of it, of just being like these very tragic people who were just trying to like save the world and didn't know what was going on, who immediately got sacrificed and turned into these horrible monsters who just are unthinking. Yeah, they drop really delicious perfume. They're delicious. Really. What's the delicious
Carl,
version of smell?
how do you apply cologne?
Aromatic.
Aromatic.
Take a little sip.
Yeah, you got to take a little sip. Take the edge off a little.
Yeah, as a chaser, you just a little perfume.
Yeah, it cleanses the palate.
Can I get one olive floating in perfume in a man's hat?
There you go. Just both of them up.
So we get to the top of these stairs, and if we can turn right and kind of either charge these Sanctum Templar, or we can turn left and go. I think there's probably an item down there, but there's another Relatius.
There is. There's not an item down there, by the way.
That one is good for grinding. That's a good for cool. CP grind or Gil grind. I forget which.
Okay.
But,
interesting.
Yeah, because that'll respawn. At that point, 1 is pretty easy to take down. So Zwanzig was actually saying that in his platinum run, it used to be 2.5 hours of just grinding that guy to
oh my God.
help get the... I think they changed it recently. They have newer strats, but a totally viable strat for casual play.
Okay.
When I stagger, but he keeps grinding.
Yeah, so
another boss.
Yet another boss.
At the end of this hallway.
It's Mega Man rules. We're on the boss rush before Dr. Wily fight.
We gotta do a Heat Man and Bomb Man next.
This is basically the Proud Clad, but it has feelers now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much easier than
yeah.
the Proud Clad, thankfully, in my experience with it.
This is the Tiamat Eliminator.
Yeah, Tiamat, name drop.
Ushumgal Subjugator, Tiamat Eliminator.
Yeah, it's the Subjugator, but it has little feelers on it now. It's gross. It's like black and grayish, which I guess is kind of how Tiamat tends to look in these games.
Much like FF8, Tiamat is in the last dungeon.
Oh, yeah.
Fun,
Hell
man.
yeah. You'd love to see it.
Love to see it.
It's got a spinny little fidget spinner on top, just like the Subjugator.
I will say I didn't think this battle was too hard, and it actually kind of surprised me as I was fighting it because he starts in the air, and he's got a lot of defenses, and he's like,
Ice grenades.
yeah, a lot of defenses. He's shooting ice grenades. At you
He's got
constantly.
Snow's ultimate weapon, which is ice grenades.
That's right. And he like never lets up. I mean, he is just pounding you constantly. And then you stagger him, and he's still firing even when he's staggered. So it's kind of tough. But then after one stagger cycle, he lands and becomes much weaker. And then I only got through like a fourth of his HP or so during the first stagger, and the second stagger I got through the rest, just like all at once.
There's a couple things going on. He can kind of buff himself. I forget what the name of the move is, but he'll also, I think it's worth noting that he does attack very fast, but it's not. At least for me, it didn't seem like it was too bad to stay on top of because he wasn't doing massive attack damage,
right.
even when he was buffed, where he has a buff where he'll be in haste, attack up, protect and shell up as well.
Right.
And
love
the
debuffing
bad
this
side
fucko.
of that, the bad side of that is that he's immune to all status ailments. So I was just like, saboteurs, nope, we're just going all offense and medic.
Right.
But yeah, the nice thing is when he's on the ground, you can launch him, which was very unexpected for me.
He also becomes susceptible to all those stats, like
on the
all
ground?
saboteur stuff when he's on the ground. Yeah.
Ooh, nice. I don't think I realized that while he was.
You're playing hard mode.
But by the time
I only
that
knew because I accidentally went to it instead of the one that I wanted to go to, and I got like an imperil or two fired off, and I was like, "Wait a minute!"
Oh, I see what I did. I did a real pro strat where I had him staggered, and right as his stagger bar was about to run out, like literally, I mean like pixels away from it being completely empty, I was able to get Army of One started, and that will prolong the full stagger thing. So he was at
really?
He was at the
know.
top stagger thing. Lightning's going in with like the 13 attacks or whatever it is with Army of One. And since I didn't have to worry about increasing the stagger bar at all, I just switched her into Commando where she had more strength and was just dealing like the maximum DPS that she could, while like not only just like keeping his stagger bar longer, but also interrupting him so he couldn't attack. So that was my
cool.
bread and butter for this segment.
Hell yeah.
That's a
awesome.
really fun strat. When you pull it off, you feel so fucking good. You're like, hell yes.
Yeah, I obviously haven't really been using the Army of One a lot, but I love all the strategies that you figured out using it.
Yeah, it's
I
like
love
partially I figured out some of them. The other is that like Zwanzig and Ninnies are always like in my chat watching me play. And they'll, like,
sure.
mention that. I'm like, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense. Hell yeah. So I'm not like, I think I would have figured out the stagger bar duration thing because there's been many fights where you kill an enemy or the enemy has like 15 HP left and then you go and do Army of One and then you're like, fuck, now I have to watch this entire animation even though I killed it on the first hit. So it works the same way with the stagger bar.
That's awesome. But I think that's our last of these bosses, right?
Yeah, we reached another one of those statue goddess things, and it presents us with a nice new painting to jump into, further proving that the black one downstairs is just cut content because they hoped you would forget about that one. It's like, we're not going to redo this animation. We have to give things something to look at.
And can I say, I love the area that we go into after this. Like after you take
it's so nice. The little waiting room. That's a good place to take a break in this nice little waiting room. There's 3 chairs on each side. There's a lovely view
we'll describe
of the
it and then
sky.
take a break because we should break here. Yeah, you're right. It's really nice.
This is the doctor's office.
It's a laboratory, a doctor's office. It's very like heavenly.
Very sterile lighting. Fluorescent bulbs are humming real nice.
Bulbs.
It's very
Heaven's
calm.
bulbs.
Like the last area has all kinds of like fucking platforms and energy just shooting all over the place. This is very very calm. There's long
Carl pointed out
shadows.
there's windows in
There's
here?
windows. I looked out the windows and I couldn't like notice any.
There's no
landmarks
structures
or
that
anything.
I
It's the
saw.
sky.
It's just like a skybox of the sky
Yeah.
in a box.
Yeah, there's like the floating like lounge chairs. Like this is basically where like we're at the this is like the waiting room, like the reception area for like we're about to meet the boss, and the boss is like, Orphan, we'll see you now.
It really is, and it's like it's totally silent too, which is very like I love it. I love it.
Barthandelus, a raging mob is here to see you.
Do they have an appointment? Yes, I phoned ahead.
This is a very, very cool just technique and like, you know, how to present something where we just went through this like really weird, hard to comprehend, very like
loud and noisy area.
MC Escher like fucking area where you're just like, I don't know. And then you come to just like the most normal looking place in the world. So it's so normal that it's fucking weird and creepy. Like it's creepier than the other shit that we've seen.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent. It reminds me of like when we finally like by we, I mean when Neo first like when he meets the architect or something like that, like the Matrix, where it's like it just feels so normal suddenly, like it's just very.
I think the thing that to me really does it, like the thing that because that is a great comparison. It's like when he meets the architect in the Matrix.
He meets George Carlin in Scary Movie 3.
The only difference to me really, and the thing that I think gives this a lot of characterization is that the windows have like low like long shadows, right? Like there's like sunlight beaming into the room, so it's not entirely clinical. It's not entirely like an underground lab or something. There's like
it feels like we're like at a high rise or something.
There's like
that.
natural
it's like we're just floating
light
in the sky.
It's very nice. Yeah,
which I mean, Eden is floating in the sky.
True.
So.
It's funny too. The first
is it real?
The first stretch that we get to, where it's just like the hallway, and at the end of it, we see like a statue at the end, and there's just all these like almost like circular light bulbs just on the wall going up and stuff. It reminded me of the hallway in the Resident Evil movie, where they go in there and there's just a bunch of lasers that like slice them all up, and they have to like dodge through the lasers and stuff. And then the very last laser that comes through is just like a checkerboard pattern. It's like you just can't avoid it.
Yeah, the theme also, I forgot the music in this whole episode so far is really cool. It's like I noticed that the longest song in any area we've been to, because it is like 8 minutes long instead of usual songs are like they loop around like 2 or 3 minutes, is this really like big washy kind of drony thing, and sometimes it turns really like eerie, kind of there's like eerie arpeggios, then kind of goes back into some ambient things. But it's called The Cradle Will Fall.
It's so good, which is the name of the chapter. Yeah. Which I was like, that's very cute.
It's rockabye baby type of thing.
Rockabye, rockabye.
But I love that it's the loop is so long, it kind of keeps you on edge the entire time. So you don't ever it doesn't feel repetitive, so you don't feel comfortable. Because it's constantly changing. The loop is so long they don't really feel it looping.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good place to take a number and sit down in one of these little chairs here and wait for Daisley.
All right, let me go up to the ticket thing here and let me grab it. Okay, grabbed it there. Hey guys, guess what number it is?
Oh my God, which one?
It's 13.
Nice.
Shit.
I wonder if people were like, he's going to say 69.
I was hoping you would go for 13. I was like, 13 would be the classy one to go
311.
Or 311, yeah. No, it's got to be 13.
All right, well, I will see you all after dub break.
Dub break.
Dub break.
Dub break.
Carl, you were saying this area reminds you of Resident Evil, but to me it reminded me of Cube 2 Hypercube, which also involves slicing dudes up.
Hell yeah. Many nights in high school at my buddy Tim's house where Hypercube was just on, and we're like, yo, this movie fucking rules.
Oddly, that's not the first nor second time in the past week that Cube 2 has come up in my life.
Please, Cube 2 Hypercube, please.
No, I'm sorry. My mistake. I'm sorry.
That cube also has
Hypercube.
Tesseracts in it.
Yes.
Remember the dude is just eating himself and collecting all his watches? That was weird.
How many cubes is a Tesseract? It's one.
It's a 4-dimensional.
Isn't it a
cube.
4-dimensional
8.
one? So an impossibility.
Well, I mean, it's essentially like
Love was the fourth dimension all along.
If you draw 2 cubes and you connect all of the vertices, it's like a 2D representation of a hypercube.
Mm-hmm.
And inside of it, I think there's 8 cubes that you can count in the 3D representation.
It's like a fractal type of thing.
I need to do that with the cool S. I remember when I learned how to draw cubes by drawing squares and like angles and stuff. I started just doing that with the cool S, and I thought it was cool as fuck.
You can literally do that again, like because you just draw 2 squares and you connect all the vertices or whatever. You can just do it again. Just draw another cube and then connect all those vertices.
Yeah,
like between the two, and that is a 2-dimensional representation of a tesseract, and all of the cubes inside of it are visible in the 2D representation. You can like count them. I think that there's 8, but I could be wrong.
We're in the waiting room. Do you guys want to talk about the waiting room a little more? There's
no lasers.
There's some statues, which I think there's just 4 statues on each. There's like a central pillar, and then there's like a hallway, little like 3 cool ass little sofas that like look like they would maybe comfortably fit only one person, but
they're pretty small.
But the design of like a love seat or a like a 3-seater. But I'm interested in this statue. I don't know who it is. I'm guessing like Lindsay or
Etro. I think are the only.
I almost said Ethos, and then I was like, Ethel.
I think they're the only like 2 feminine deities that we really have mention of right now.
Yeah,
those 2. So I'd have to imagine it's one of the 2.
There's an ether saw as well before we come up on
there
this door,
is the only item in here. It's the last item in the game.
Yeah, just in case you need to top off your TP.
Yep. This area is called the Narthex, which rules.
Mm-hmm. We see another one of those Jafar cocoon brands on this door that just kind of like a future cyber door. It's got like an Xbox door. Red Ring of Death, but like a vertical line version of it.
Yeah.
Oh, and when the door opens up, it's also a falsie, of course, at the bottom of it that then has a smaller door.
And once we go through that, Lightning will say, "Are you ready?" Right?
She says like, "Let's do this."
Let's do this. Let's mosey.
And then you get one more chance to turn around. Like even though you're walking through the door, she says, "Let's do this." And then you get control of your party again. And if you walk immediately backwards, you can go do stuff. But if you continue forwards at all, it begins the final series of fights in the game. That's the game. And I think it is time to beat the game.
I agree.
Beat a game.
Ready? Yep. Yeah, ready. Says the gang. Snow says this is it.
Yeah, Lightning's like, moment of truth, hero.
yeah. We come up on like a precipice.
Yeah, we're overlooking what looks like the inside of. It's very kind of like Art Deco-y in the center, but there's like cogs and wheels almost like pointed at the middle of this room.
Art Deco Gladys boss fight arena.
Yeah.
With a cool ass chair thrown in
this
the
is
middle.
BioShock Portal.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is there's a cool ass chair in the middle. It's a big like stone throne, and engraved on the back of it is the cool S, just right there. Finally found
Oh yeah, there it is.
In tesseract shape.
But no, it actually has the symbol of Lindsay, and it has some like text on it, right?
Some cocoon text I probably could translate, but I'm not gonna.
I do. Yeah, we all kind of jumped down there, and I liked that Lightning is the first one to jump down. To me, that felt fitting.
Yeah, everything starts shaking, and everyone kind of jumps down. I think maybe because that platform starts shaking or something like that. Like
I actually thought it was gonna collapse, and I was like, no, they wouldn't collapse their own stuff like that. How would you get back up?
Yeah, Vanille kind of notices more of the goo floating around, the little lights, just like in Erba.
And I think this is the answer to this, because we've been talking about this, like, are these fireflies, are these souls or whatever? And as she says, oh, they're little lights, just like in Erba, Barthandelus says, life's spark shines on. And we can't see him. He's just speaking to us from somewhere else. Life's spark shines on, once freed from its fleshly shroud. And so I think that is life. Like, those are living beings no longer inside of their flesh. Like,
that's soul. Soul goop.
It's not firefly, it's just pyre dust.
Yeah.
And
but
as he's saying that, we see two little Sims. What are the things above the Sims' heads?
Plum bobs.
Yeah, we see two Sim plum bobs, one blue, one green, erupt from the ground and kind of float above, and that transforms into some familiar faces that we know and love.
Yeah, Dodge
these
and
guys.
Sarah.
I literally saw these and I was like, oh, right. Like the whole reason that any of this is happening. There's two very important NPCs that are in Crystal that I literally forgot about because of how long it's been of us just in this last stretch.
Yeah.
Like the stakes have gotten so much higher.
Nautilus was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah was, who knows? I thought we just got used to her being a little birthstone.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that little birthstone, right? Minerva flies in, the owl, right?
From
and
the
lands
cool
on the
hallway
throne.
that we were just in.
From the cool hallway, from the narthex. Lands on the throne, transforms into Daisley, or at least
Drops
Daisley
him
appears.
off.
And he says, he's continuing his last sentence about life shining on. He says, dreams,
finds a way.
meanwhile, shatter in a flash.
And he slams down his little Pope stick, and those crystals that we have been trying to liberate for the
people
entire
we've
game,
been trying to save.
they just fucking shatter.
Shatter, and like Saz is like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, as Dodge goes first, and then Snow is like reaching out his hand, and it kind of shows in the background there Sarah's crystal shattering as well, and he's like, no. And then he pulls an Ash Ketchum in Pokemon the first movie, where he's like, okay, this shit's getting real bad.
He does this every time he sees Daisley.
I'm just gonna run up on this guy and try to punch him, and he immediately gets like the energy field blocking him, just like Mewtwo.
And Lightning says to Snow after that, she goes, think, where's the real Sarah? And he's like, oh yeah.
It's like Ben Shapiro in that punching bag.
But yeah, and that's what I was saying. She's like the little crystal, the little teardrop, right?
Yeah, Saz calls it Falsy smoke and mirrors. Like,
can I put a pin in that too?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the smoke and mirrors thing. And I'm sorry, I'm going to do this right in the middle of a conversation that everybody's having. But I just wanted to say, maybe you're on the same track that I'm on, Alex. Maybe not. I feel like this game is so tightly written up to a certain point, and then there are like 3 or 4 things that happen in this last cutscene that are cool conceptually. They're like conceptually interesting ideas to write with.
Like Cube.
And then over and over, they just say, oh, that's just Falsy, smoke, and mirrors. And it's like, you can't do that to every fucking plot point that pops up. Every time something happens, they're like, it's just Falsy, smoke, and mirrors. It's fine. And like,
it's Yevon,
no, it's fine, because Hope
it's just
that's
Yevon, whatever, fuck it.
Hope clears it up completely by saying, yeah, they don't work wonders. They play tricks. As we all know, a Joker only ever uses 10% of his tricks.
But I like this exchange because, like Snow's on his knees. He like Lightning reminds him because I guess with the little like Sarah's tear, we kind of still have kind of a sense on her like life. I guess.
It's glowing as well.
It's like, remember, where is the real Sarah? And he looks down, but like I like that Saz like lowers next to him just the chick as if that's like the comparable thing to Sarah's tear.
My assumption was that the Chocobo chick would feel sad if Dodge died, and it's currently in good spirits.
My association, and I'm glad that I was wrong.
The bird says bullshit.
The box says no. My assumption of that, and I'm glad I was incorrect about it, because it would have been really fucking stupid. And again, like, who knows? This game could have easily done that because there's a lot of stupid shit in this game. But I was like, is that implying something that I've kind of suspected might be dumb enough for them to put it in? That Dodge's soul is somehow like in this Chocobo chick? Like the Chocobo chick is Dodge somehow? Like, I'm glad that from what I've seen after beating the game, I haven't done all the missions. I didn't get all the Analects yet, but I don't think that's the case.
I died and my soul went to this Chocobo.
As we all know, Dodge is an Animorph.
This is what
he stayed in Animorph form too long.
Remember that Nickelodeon show 100 Good Deeds for Eddie McDowell? Where like,
yeah,
oh my god, you just unlocked a fucking memory in my brain. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Where the bully turns into a dog and has to do good deeds. And,
that's right. Yeah. God.
Listen, there's nothing in the rulebook that says a bully can't turn into a dog.
But yeah, Hope says it. Yeah, they play tricks.
Yeah, and Bart's like, yeah, at last, my errant lassie, men fight men, men battle beasts, Cocoon wars with Pulse. It's like, motherfucker, all this shit's your fault.
Men fight men. Men battle beasts. Cocoon wars with Pulse. There can be no end to such conflict. But Cocoon's end is imminent and inevitable. Will you not at least slay Orphan and make it quick, as an act of mercy?
I think it's kind of interesting the way he presents that at the end or whatever, that he's like, please just do it. Just stop being dicks and just kill me already. Just kill Orphan.
Yeah, I'll be your friend. Oh, you're mean.
Oh, you're mean.
But yeah, Lightning's just like, mercy, you mean murder, and Cocoon won't die. We're not here for that. We came for you. And everyone kind of readies themselves to...
She points the sword at him, too. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and he's being all pouty again. Like,
I will say, I think that as much as I'm like, oh, the acting and the writing is weird in the end of the game or whatever, I think Barthandelus does a really good job. Like the way they make his model move and the voice acting in this scene, I think is really good because he shows like a bit more humanity, even though he's not a human in this scene. Like he's sick and twisted, right? Like he's evil, but like. He's
getting frustrated.
Yeah, like at begin, like for the first part of the conversation, it seems like he's like genuinely being like, "Will you please just slay Orphan, please?" Like
yeah,
I won't even fight you. Like it's not even a personal thing. Just go do it. He's right here. Just deal with it.
I think
and then
the
he
highest,
looks genuinely disappointed now. He's like, "Come on."
the highest praise that I can give to the voice actor of Dicely / Barthandelus is that there's enough times where I'm like, "Is this Clancy Brown?" Like. That is amazing. Like,
I would love that Clancy Brown be in a Final Fantasy. I don't know if he was, but I would not be surprised if he was.
Yeah. No, but that, yeah.
Yeah, he says, such willful insolence, disappointing. You prolong Cocoon's suffering, and to what end? Refusing me, but condemns another to face your focus tomorrow. And then he stands up and
it's
he
like
says...
my brother in FFXIII, you could simply stop forcing people to have a focus.
my brother in FFXIII.
It's like, oh, this is your fault. You're making someone else get a focus. It's like, motherfucker, you're the one doling out focuses. Like, why are you fucking gaslighting me and all my friends?
But he stands up and says, if you truly seek salvation, you will obey. And he becomes the big, nasty, wide Barthandelus that we know and love. But this time, he has like robotic angel wings or something. It's really
yeah, his
really
pauldron's got even bigger. Now he's wearing football shoulder pads.
It's true.
That look like angel's wings.
I'm looking up the voice actor. His name is Stuart Scott Bullock. He voiced King Goobot in The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron. He voiced a lot of things in Danny Phantom as well.
Nice.
Okay.
And Hades and Kid Icarus.
Gotta catch them all.
Flappy Bob. Yeah.
There is an interesting amount of like Nickelodeon TV show voice actors in this. Like, was it Ferb from Phineas and Ferb?
Yeah, he's
in
here.
Yeah.
Is Hope? Yeah.
He's
Interesting.
everywhere here.
Jeff Fisher.
He's in Flapjack. He's Captain Ridiculous.
Oh, wow. Captain Barthandelus.
So Bart's got a move now. I don't think he had this before. He's got Ultima.
Oh,
Yo,
man.
he has Ultima now.
He didn't do that before, right? I remember being like,
No,
oh,
he
shit.
did not.
Yeah, so luckily, Ultima, at least with my build, seemed to be way less powerful than Ultimas that we've seen in the past. This isn't like
It's not that
Seymour.
bad.
It's not Seymour casting Ultima on you or anything from Final Fantasy X. Like, I actually was able to survive this pretty well.
Yeah, it's not that bad. He still has that fucking Thanatosian laughter, and I hate that move.
Yeah, that move will really chunk you down. Like, you need to make sure that you're healed up for that. There was a point, I think, where Ultima was only doing like a couple ticks of damage to some of my party, and I don't know if it's because like lightning was jumping and outside of like the area of effect of it, but I saw like Ultima doing like 7, and I'm like, oh well.
Yeah, it's Ultima's a weird one. I'm actually not really sure how it works or what its math is.
It's a cool looking attack, and again, it's a Final Fantasy 13 boss fight, so there's so much going on that you might blink and miss some stuff with it, but like. I remember he used Ultima at one point when I was actually paying attention to the battlefield, and I was like, oh my god, what was that attack? I need to prepare for that. And Swansea was like, oh yeah, that was just Ultima. I was like, oh, I just didn't say it. Like, it's just like a full out explosion, and then you see the green that we usually associate with Ultima.
I'm reading the description of it right now, and apparently it deals major damage to all characters, consisting of 2 hits a weak opener and a strong finisher with high damage variance. So it may do like nothing, or it may do just like a shitload of damage.
I see. Well, that's pretty cool then. That explains why I saw like a single digit. I'm like, this ain't nothing to worry about.
Yeah, at no point did Ultima do like over half my health or anything like that. Like it was not that bad. But that fucking the Thanatosian laughter, that shit can go kick rocks somewhere. I hate that.
Yeah,
move.
I don't know how many hits it does on you, but it does big old chunks of damage, and it hits like what feels like almost 10 times.
Yeah, I think it does fractional damage. I think it's like gravity based or something like that. Because I never died from it. None of my characters got killed by it, but they would always be in like 100 health or left or something like that. Actually, yes. It says right here, unlike before, it now deals fractional damage.
Okay. Well, that's
but
good.
it can kill a party member if that party member has D-Shell. Okay.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Which, can he cast D-Shell? I think there are some status ailments that you can get in this fight, right?
Yeah, he can cast a couple things on you. I think his normal attacks do stuff like that. He's kind of rough. I mean, he's not terrible. I think the coolest thing
I feel like
about
he's
it
not
is-
as bad as the other fights that we've had with him.
Agreed.
I think this fight's a lot simpler also that he doesn't have like multiple target.
Yeah,
arms,
yeah.
too. It just really simplifies things.
I really wasted that Libra scope expecting him to.
I think the coolest thing about the battle is that he talks to you as the battle goes on. Like he keeps telling you, he's like, "You will kill Orphan. You have to obey," and stuff like
Please.
that. So I thought
It's
that
like,
was
no
kinda
way,
cool.
old man. We'll never kill Orphan. That'll never happen.
That'll never happen. Definitely not.
We
in the
have
next
no
fight.
reason to.
That's right.
Definitely no reason.
So I mean, honestly, for being the last fight with Bart, I don't really have too much else to say about it.
Yeah, this fight, I also don't have too much more to say about it because I was able to just beat it in my first try, and I only got 3 stars on it, but it didn't seem that difficult. I think I kind of played it safe as well, just to make sure, because, I mean, how many times have we fought this asshole now?
Yeah,
3 times.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd time.
And
tonight,
that's it. Yeah.
We beat the game. Hooray.
yeah, that's final boss. There we go.
Orphan lives on and everything's fine. He sinks into the goo.
He sinks
Yeah,
into
we-
the goo. He's looking gooey himself.
Yeah, the floor was like it was like his throne area was like above like a water pool. Like
Yeah.
So for some reason the floor is now gone.
Maybe he was part of the floor.
Can I say that this is the first in a series of escalatingly confusing cutscenes? Like everything from this point to the end of the game is so batshit insane.
Yeah.
Like with maybe the most batshit insane thing happening in this cutscene. So sorry, go ahead.
What is the goo? Who could say?
Who could say, but Barthandelus is dipping into it, and he says,
He dips into the
"Release
hotel pool.
at last release."
Yeah, and he's like screaming, "Release, the last release."
Saz is just like, hey, put a lid on it.
Yeah. Everybody
shit
has their
out.
version of, "Oh, we did it. You know, it's
Yeah.
done. All right."
Yay!
And then
And everything's fine.
the
And
craziest
then-
thing in the entire fucking world happens to me.
It's that
I
bird
laugh
again.
every time I see this. I can't help but laugh at it. Because fucking Minerva appears and just fucking headlong like dives right into the pool.
Splonk.
And just like it suicide bombs into it. Just goes.
Is that
zoop.
bird just like holding like the soul of Barthandelus or something? I don't know.
Is that
know,
his
but-
fucking Horcrux or whatever the fuck? Like,
That's kind of what it feels like.
Its animation of it flying into the water is so fucking funny to me because
Yeah,
it doesn't have any like special animation to it. It's just a straight line down into it and then not even like a splash. Just doop.
Yeah, it's just like that pilot landing in the Hudson River kind of thing.
And then that happening causes some crazy fucking shit. We start hearing a voice saying,
we start hearing 2 voices.
"Oh, that's true, 2 voices." And
I think it's the voice of Barthandelus, but also a female voice that we haven't
Yes.
heard before.
Correct.
And I like how the script just calls this being.
Yeah, being. They say, "A haven, yea, yet it must fall ere we be saved. Too frail a shell, and humans would not thrive. Too stout a shell, and they would not die. Slaughter and salvation, two irreconcilable focuses we bore. Focuses? I thought it was called foci. Like
yeah, what the fuck,
inconsistencies
game?
yeah.
Come on, fix your game, Square Enix.
Yet bound were we in a cocoon prison, impervious to our power.
I lost the
and so
wrong
we
skin.
thank you for granting us our longed-for birth. And I wanted to say, I know I've brought this up a couple times, and they're getting ready to talk about it more, but I think this kind of goes to what we've talked about a little before, like why don't the fal'Cie do the things that the l'Cie are supposed to do? Like, why don't they do it? Or like, can fal'Cie kill other fal'Cie? Like, what's the deal, right?
It's like they can't
do it. Like, even though they're like ultra powerful, they have their focuses too. Like, they have their things that they have to do, and they can't act outside of it.
I guess a good way to look at it, like with in-game mechanics, is like we have now fought Barthandelus and killed him 3 times, yet he has not died. Any of these times he has.
Yeah, it's just a shell, I'm guessing, because he is a fal'Cie. The fal'Cie is like a ethereal energy, I'm guessing, and that so his shell, his vessel, is all that we're breaking over and over again.
It's interesting, too, the way they said, like, too frail a shell and humans should not thrive, too stout a shell and they would not die. With that, it's, like, kind of juxtaposition between, like, Cocoon and Pulse, because, like, if we know anything, especially from reading the chapter in the... in episode 0, like, too frail a shell, humans should not thrive, but, like, people on Cocoon are... all creatures on Cocoon are extremely, extremely frail. But they're still thriving.
Well, I mean, they're thriving in a way that they're reproducing a lot, I suppose. If the goal is to like mass, kill all these people.
True, yeah.
Yeah, and if Cocoon
thriving
was
in the way
strong,
that cows in
break
a slaughterhouse are.
I mean, they're basically
right.
saying like humans are too weak to like exist on their own, but like if they were too hefty, they wouldn't
be able to die. Yeah.
Like, they're exploitable is basically kind of the whole thing. Like, the reason, that's kind of like the thing with Lightning the last scene, was like, because of our empathy is both our strength and our weakness, or we're easily, like, taken advantage of, but also we're fucking stubborn as hell.
I didn't think about it that way. I literally only thought of the shell as Cocoon, but I guess, you could read it as Cocoon, or actually, like, the physical, like, existence of humans as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I guess, no, it probably makes more sense that they're talking about Cocoon. I took it as, like, humans in general, because it's like, we're wondering about gods, and they're talking about creating humans or whatever, and it's like, well, it's this weird...
They designed them to be kind of dependent and, like, not too...
Planned obsolescence.
I figured it was talking about Cocoon because the lines before it, he says, like, a haven, like a safe place, and then, yet it must fall ere we be saved. Like, it's a safe place that needs to fall. And I'm like, oh, he's talking about Cocoon.
I'm too dumb for this shit.
I'm sure there's some parallel meaning in a lot of this.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Well, it works that way,
This
definitely.
is thick with symbolism.
It is.
Yeah, but as all of as
Subtext.
he's like, as this being is saying this over and over and just kind of philosophizing or whatever the fuck, Snow says Dicely, and says no, not anymore. And that being says, we are the abandoned one, born but now to die. Our name is Orphin. By our hand the world shall know redemption.
Can I?
Orphan.
Yeah. Our name is Orphan. Yeah.
I do like the lady head of it, wearing the cool like Gwendolyn kind of crown, like very
Let's
very
talk
cool
about
looking,
this
very
thing.
very creepy looking.
I'm gonna post a picture in our Discord together. There's a really good image by the artist Moth Cub, who beat this game, drew a picture of Orphan, and then we retweeted it, and then they like followed us and were like, oh, I like your podcast, and I was like, oh, I love your art, and so it like all worked out very well. But they drew the best version of Orphan.
Oh my god,
and I love it so
good.
much. It makes me so happy to see.
Oh my god, I love it. Yeah, really capturing my favorite animation of it, which is like the motherly side of Orphan, just gently like caressing, just like, or like showing off the child of like the face of the child.
Yeah, this thing is basically like a giant headstone that is like kind of all mashed together. In the middle, there is the child. There's like the father and the mother on each side. Barthandelus being the purple side.
Basically, Pinwheel from Dark Souls.
Yeah.
The mother, the child, and the father.
There's a lot of geometry here, also.
Yeah. So Orphan is a primarily widthy creation. It's not exactly depthy. Like, it's very flat. but very, very. They're coming out of the pool, so at the moment we don't see what's below them. But it's a fusion between three creatures, right? A masculine one that's made out of like black crystal and is incredibly geometric, like hard corners.
Kind of looks like Barthandelus' face in silhouette. So instead of it being front facing to us, it's kind of off to the side now.
It reminds me of Lawnmower Man.
And then there's like the other two characters remind me of like the Madonna, like the Mother Mary with the Christ child or whatever.
Yeah, the character from all those Tool songs, right?
That's right.
That might be the Minerva part of it. Now I think about it.
Oh, possibly.
There's the wings on that side as well, like the cool, like almost they look brass.
Because originally I was like, where did these three entities come from? Like I know there's Orphan, I know there's Bart, and then like, oh, Minerva dives in, the familiar of Bart. So maybe it's just a fusion of these three things kind of smushed together. Which Minerva, I think, also like we talked about a little bit. I totally forgot the like etymology and like theological references and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Minerva. Roman goddess of wisdom, justice, law, victory.
Yeah, the very center or the top center,
like Athena. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, the top center is just a circle with a little like sleeping face on it, and the mother figure or the feminine figure is kind of like cradling it with its hands or whatever, and they all
with its singular hand because the rest of the body is like the other part of the entity.
Yeah, and it's
so is this point of like they fused with Orphans like. All right, if you're not going to kill Orphan on your own, how if I fuse with Orphan, then you have to kill me with Orphan along with it, is maybe what the plan is.
I wonder. It's so
that's
hard
kind
to
of
say.
the motivation.
Yeah, because
there's Minerva and Dies like kind of fusing with like because if fallacies are just like an energy source, they can share a cell or share a shell.
Yeah.
That's hard to say.
I think there's also more dialogue going on as this is coming into frame.
There is, and I will say that like as it's written in the script we're reading, the being or whatever, this orphan, it does refer to itself in like the royal we, or like not even the royal we, it's like a plural we, and it says we thank you for granting us our longed for birth. So like I feel like this is a thing that needed to happen anyway, and not necessarily just a ploy by Daisley, but I feel like it's impossible to say like exactly what is going on here.
Yeah. I mean, there might be people who have dove into this even more and can make a perfect sense of it. I have not researched it enough to get that yet. I will try to for the next couple of episodes, but it's all very, very confusing.
The fact that Minerva dove in makes it seem very willing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This was intentional, yeah.
I mean, this all seems to be still going very according to plan for Barthandelus, like... Given that we are in an inescapable battle with the thing that we are trying to not fight.
Yeah, right.
I love it, like not only cradling it, but it's like it looks almost like it's delivering Orphan.
Yeah,
on
like
a platter,
presenting
like,
it, being like
serving it, like it's like,
it
and here you are behind door number 1, like
Yeah, it's really cool. So this fight is a very interesting one. How did you guys do with it? It starts with prison rules because it uses an attack, Merciless Judgment, which is
right
a very cool.
Gate.
Very cool animation of just a gigantic fucking sword erupting from the ground.
You get to see the bottom of Orphan, which is a big fucking sword.
Yeah, it's the fucking sword Pokemon, Honedge or whatever.
And the tail of like the mother side was kind of wisping around it a little bit too.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's really
the music is fucking Dark Souls as fuck. It's pretty.
Oh, the music's so good.
So I think the way that Merciless Judgment works is that it is also kind of like a gravity type attack that will only do fragmental damage and it won't fully kill you. But it brought my team, which has like close to like 6,000 or 7,000 HP each, down to 75 HP on Lightning, 58 HP on Vanille, and 72 on Fang. So it's like, uh-oh. So like just immediately you have to start healing back up because it will always start with that attack.
It does give you a second before it keeps going to heal up or whatever. So if you're like ready, like if you go ahead and switch into like a medic,
combat clinic or something,
yeah, then you'll be okay. But when he starts out, I will say there is just enough time to switch to combat clinic before he comes down, and you can reduce the fractional damage a little bit.
It's interesting too because it's a very cinematic attack that they're using. So
I haven't seen another attack in the game this way. I think this is
I don't
the
think
only
there's
one.
ever been one because notably we can't go into a paradigm shift after it has been called. Once that animation starts, it's kind of like when we summon Odin or something, like or summon an Eidolon. That's just it. Like you just have to wait until it finishes.
Yeah, it's wild. It makes you respect it.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Also, what is the thing? Oh yeah, the other side casts like a kind of healing orb, kind of right.
Yeah,
next to it.
uses the hand that's presenting Orphin and
So
like, adds a little glyph over there.
Is that thing you can target? I forget.
You can't target it, but as the battle goes on, that has a name. That's let me see. What is it called? That is
Consummate Light.
Consummate Light. So it has Consummate Light and Consummate Darkness, right? And every two and a half...
The word consummate's ruined by me by the Trogdor, like consummate.
Yeah,
beast.
Consummate Beast. Every 2.5 minutes, it switches between them. I much prefer Consummate Light to be out instead of Darkness because Darkness can hit you with status effects, and that shit sucks. So even though you can't target multiple parts of Orphan, there are multiple pieces on the board in the way that there are like the 3 Orphan faces and the Darkness or Light ball that take their own turns and apply pressure as you go through this fight. So you kind of have to juggle a couple things even though there's only one target. It has a really tough slap hit where it just kind of like rotates around and slaps everybody and does a good chunk of damage. Less than half though, so you can take at least 2 of them.
Yeah, unless you just got mercilessly judgmented,
that's right.
Then he smacks you. But I think the AI script doesn't do it that way. Merciless judgment isn't like a, oh, fuck, you just lose now kind of thing. It's more so of a like, no, you need to reset and get to it. It's not really going to be a situation that I've seen, and I've had to do this fight 3 times, which I'm excited to talk about. I haven't really seen a thing where it's like you need to immediately like you'll immediately die.
Right. And after he is staggered or switches between Consummate Light and Consummate Darkness, he uses Merciless Judgment.
Right.
So you can kind of know when it's getting ready to happen. Like if you just did like a good stagger session or whatever, you did a whole bunch of damage, you see the stagger coming to the end, it's probably safe to just go ahead and switch to Combat Clinic right then.
Yeah.
He is susceptible to poison, which on enemies with a shit ton of HP rules. You can really put some numbers in that way. He's actually susceptible to quite a bit.
Oh, I actually do want to take back what I said with the Merciless Judgment. At least for the first one, that one's pretty free, but I was close enough to Orphan that as I was trying to shift into Combat Clinic after getting the second Merciless Judgment in the fight, I just died immediately with lightning before I could even like heal up or anything. So yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, but I guess it's like another D shell thing too, where like even though it's fractional, I don't know like what attack was hitting me after it. I'm trying to watch that, but it's just like there's like just a beam that's coming out. It doesn't say what attack it is. He has an unnamed attack that has like these like dark purple lasers shoot out.
Yeah, so maybe that has something to do with Consummate Darkness, because that's definitely what hit me right after that. So that's
probably so
bullshit.
Yeah, he's kind of it's a little rough. There's a lot going on. There's also my least fucking favorite thing in the fight. I had to do this fight 3 times. I wonder
what it is. Yeah.
Because of progenitorial wrath.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. But what is that? I'm actually watching my second attempt where that's hitting as well.
When in Consummate Light, he can use an attack called Progenitorial Wrath, which has a low chance of inflicting instant death, which guess how I died both times.
Oh, is that the instant death one?
That's the instant death one.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
yeah, he hits you with it, and then you just have it's a low percentage chance.
It says 50%.
It's a 50% chance. It's a coin flip.
But well, I mean, a 50% chance and 3 people on my team, and both times it attacked Fang and killed me, and I was like, "Come on!"
So I have a little extra information about that because that is how my second run ended. I literally had no idea what was going on. It was like Merciless Judgment happened. I healed everyone back up. I was doing really well. I almost had Orphan completely dead. I was like fully staggered. Everything was going great. I was like, I fucking got it. This is amazing. Nope. Wrath. Lightning's dead. Full health. Lightning.
Yeah.
I want to see if this is full bullshit.
So that's 16% chance, I guess, if it's going to kill your lead party member.
This is actual actual bullshit, because if I understand it correctly from what Zwanzig was saying, Bart will always prioritize a medic or a sentinel. If
everybody in my party at the time was sentinel or medic, so
I'm looking back at my footage when I literally was about to win on my second try. Lightning was fucking Ravager, and he still hit her. Vanille was medic. So I don't know why that happened, but I was like doing so well, and like
what
I thought
asshole.
I won. I thought I won because like everything just stopped in the battle, and I like looked over and I just saw here's a really good screenshot of my face. Yeah, so for whatever reason, the game was just like, no, you got unlucky, so you lose. Even though I played that perfectly to the point where Zwanzig was like, holy shit, you got him to half health, like immediately with the first stagger, and like I was on he was like, you're using speedrun strats, like without me really even realizing it. And then it was just like, no, actually you lose.
Yeah, that happened to me fucking twice. I was like, come on.
Yeah, fuck that.
Lame.
Not great game design. Luckily we don't have to go back and fight Barthandelus if we get a game over. We just start.
Your face.
I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like his HP was so low, or their HP was so low, and the stagger bar was so high. Everything was going so well. I was doing army of one, literally about to win the fucking fight. And then it was just like lightning died on the way to her home planet. And I was like, well.
Nothing to be done.
I had to do it a couple times. The time I finally did beat him, I got him down in 2 staggers, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think that's what I did as well.
He also uses Dies Irae.
Yes, I looked that up. That is actually
Day of Wrath.
Day of Wrath in Latin. Yeah, which is something that Barthandelus has talked about, or will.
The only reason I know that that's Day of Wrath is there is a famous painting called that has that depicts the stock market crash where people were said to jump out windows or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a painting of that. It's called that. That's the only reason I know it.
Yeah, I think I did the Odin strat, which is another interesting mechanic. I don't know if you guys tried summoning.
No, I didn't. Actually, you know what? I did at one point. I summoned Bahamut just for the HP.
Yeah. Did you get Mercilessly Judgment?
Probably.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I'm assuming this is how it works because I got Merciless Judgment and I was like, this was my strat that I was going to use because I was like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. Like, he can pull that shit where he just one hit KOs me even though I'm at full health and about to win. And then he's like, nah, you lose actually. I was like, I'm using Odin. I do not care anymore. I got Mercilessly Judgment and then I was like, okay, summon Odin, get the HP back, take care of it, no problem. Right after I summoned Odin, one attack goes off, Merciless Judgment immediately again. So I don't know if that was just a damage threshold thing or like a...
Oh, I don't know.
But it was literally 2 of them in a row, and then Odin was just immediately dead. I couldn't gestalt or anything, so I was just like, okay. But I got the free health. And then I think I died a similar way of like... Wait, did I die the same fucking way the second time? I think there might have been another one of those wraths that happened. Oh no, it was vile exploitation that got me that time. Okay. So the next time instead of using the summon, I just used renew. Which have we talked about renew at all? Because that shit is fucking broken.
I have not. I don't think I've ever used renew.
So renew is the technique. So requires TP, but it basically does the same thing that summoning does to your party, except you don't get the summon. So it's basically like, oh, I don't actually need an Eidolon here. It's used quite a bit in the speed run for like quick ways to just be like, okay, my party is almost dead and they won't survive the next attack that's coming. Pop off a renew real quick. Everyone's back to full health.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's really good.
Interesting.
It takes TP, so that's why it's not like super broken.
I'm reading Barthandelus, Orphan's blade part of their body has a ton of writing on it and like the Lindsay symbol.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the text for it, but when you translate it from Cocoonian or whatever, it's just in Latin, and I don't know what the Latin is. So
I can pull it up on next episode maybe.
Okay, I was gonna say too many layers deep.
Oh yeah,
I think it's in the concept art, but I did not scan that page in yet.
It says over and over line again, begins Sakaguchi rules. If you're reading this, you're a big fucking nerd.
Every line begins with Ragnarok, though. So
that's cool.
Get a load of this guy, indeed.
So the end of this fight was so I might have won the time I won with poison damage, because also very susceptible to some things like de-shell, de-protect, poison, and I think imperil as well. So you can rattle off a lot of stuff to make this fight a little more manageable. So he was poisoned, or they were poisoned, and I was going through and like trying to like figure out my next moves because some of my party was debuffed, and I was bracing myself for an attack and everything. And then the fight just ended, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I had just put lightning into Ravager, but I don't think I actually got any attacks off, and it just died. It might have been like during like the Day of Wrath attack, I might have been attacking and didn't see it, but the fight just ended. My battle duration was 5 minutes and 22 seconds out of the target time of 11 minutes and 8 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I won. So it's like, it doesn't feel like a very well-tuned fight with how like these bullshit things can happen. But I will say, even though it has the one-hit KO, it feels infinitely better than most hard fights in Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, there's a real scramble to it, I will say, like, in this fight. It's very chaotic. It's off the rails.
It might also just be the fast retry that you get, where it's just like, oh, you lose, retry, you didn't lose anything. You don't have to watch a super long cutscene or anything. That makes it kind of feel like, even if they get the really bullshit, unlikely one-hit KO like they got on me, I was just like, like it didn't tilt me enough to be. I was like, oh, that's annoying and stupid, but you know.
I did take a
I had a
picture
lot of
of
fun
my time, my results screen and everything. And the thing I noticed most about this results screen, and I know this is a very weird thing to say, my phone did a very, very good job of capturing the text on there. It's real crisp in this picture.
Oh, hell yeah.
And like, it just looks really nice. Wow.
Shoutouts to Curtis's phone.
Shoutouts to my phone. Looking real good. Incredible. I beat him in 5 minutes 12, but my
10 seconds faster than me. Fuck.
My target time was so much lower though that I think really you kind of beat him faster than me because I was so fucking leveled, or I was so statted up,
that's a good point,
or whatever. So so really I didn't really beat it faster because
this was another fight where I was like, with Army of One has just become such a versatile thing because it's like you can get the ATB refreshes in there as Lightning's doing it. Lightning's locked into the attack and all of that, but what's really nice is I will just do that and then go into like diversity. So Fang and Lightning are both still doing DPS as Vanille is kind of healing up for free, essentially. Like, I don't know if Orphan is still able to get off attacks during Army of One. I think that it is, but it's also nice because once you have the full stagger up, that's when you switch into Commando and just start dealing even more damage.
Did we say what the Day of Wrath move does?
I don't think we did. It's a very big, large explosion that I've seen.
I'm just going to call it that because I don't actually know how to pronounce it. Unless either of you want to take a shot
I would imagine Dies Irae? I don't know.
Dies Irae?
Nintendo DS. Well, let me see.
That sounds very
Dies
familiar. I've heard
Irae,
that, yeah.
according to the Dies Irae.
What does it do?
Physical and magical. Deals moderate damage to all targets. Can inflict, de-protect, and de-shell.
No,
so that's
I hate
a bummer.
that.
Yeah, so that's like, I was trying to stay on top of debuffs and stuff, and luckily I do have Combat Clinic, so I was able to kind of like aim Asuna's correctly. But you don't want to have that because a lot of these attacks are really nasty, and if you have, you want any advantage you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is not all. That's not the last boss. So we beat Orphan.
And they're fucking loving it. They are having a great time. Everyone's laughing, having a good time. I got a screenshot of like the female presenting a member of Orphan, just like right after the thing where she's smiling, and I realize she kind of looks like she's got like a worm shape. This might be the girlfriend who said, "Will you still love me if I became a worm?"
Indeed.
And the answer is yes, because she is very pretty.
I noticed also because they do a lot of close-ups on the face. I think it's maybe just how they compress the animation data because there's just so much geometry, but it's still the face kind of has a PS1 like jiggly geometry thing to it sometimes.
Oh, really?
It's interesting.
I'm looking at the video that's playing here, and it shows more of that sword text that we were, translating and all of that. The way that it looks in English literally says poo poo. This is just a doo-doo ass poo-poo sword. No wonder it deals
I know,
so
it
much
does say
damage.
poo-poo. Oh my
It
god.
just says poo-poo.
It literally says it. Oh my god.
Dude, these games were literally made for our dumb fucking asses.
Alex, I don't know how it works. I'm not sure how like it works when you actually upload the fucking things. I feel like that has to be like the episode art, like, or at least like we like put it in the Discord or like tweet it or something because it's like it just says poo poo.
I guess like the closer kind of thing is it almost looks like the katakana for like as the first.
If you want to be really charitable,
I'm being very generous here. It could look like a
really
stylized version of in katakana and then 2 zeros next to it, which literally just looks like it says poo.
Yeah, that does. That's actually a T, and I think the letter U, something like that.
Yeah, that's poo.
Sorry,
it's poop again.
Every Final Fantasy ends with poo. I don't know how does it work.
God damn, dude.
Starts with trains, ends with poop.
That's right. That's how you know it's a Final Fantasy. I'm excited to see what train FF16 starts on.
Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, so
this is a doozy of a scene.
This is a big old scene. So our reward for beating Barthandelus is that a bunch of dark energy, or Barthandelus, Orphan, is that Orphan shoots out a bunch of dark energy and paralyzes everyone. So it's kind of like you beat the final boss, but actually you lose because they're stronger than you. Asshole.
It rises up, exposing its cool scripture, and just starts electrocuting
exposing
everyone
its
with
poo-poo.
the purple. I showed you my blade. Please respect.
It says, have you ever paused to consider our reason for making l'Cie of men? We fal'Cie are crafted for a single purpose and granted finite power to that end. With men it is not so. Men dream, aspire, and through indomitable force of will achieve the impossible. Your power is beyond measure. We take l'Cie that we might wield such strength. Through you, we have obtained freedom from our bondage, and now your focus alone remains. Defy it, and all will be for naught. Cocoon's sacrifice, and that of Grand Pulse as well. And it's like, okay, there you go. That's why they keep doing it. It's interesting. I love that. I think that's great that they're like these like unkillable god creatures, but they're trapped in what they can and cannot do.
Yeah, so
they are
instead,
trapped in their focus.
So instead, they're
basically.
like,
we are able to choose.
Yeah,
they're like, we have the ends that we want to have, but we do not have the means to get there. But we can continually put you in a situation to exploit you and your unbreakable will to overcome great turmoil and push beyond your own physical limits so that I may achieve my goals. Like, damn,
they're the capitalist class.
Gotta lift yourself by your bootstraps.
Imagine if like the real world operated like that. That shit would suck, dude.
Yeah, this is all about unionization. That's all your thing is about.
But the Barthandelus part of Orphan creates like a snare, like an energy snare around Vanille. And I think the idea is that he's like torturing Vanille in hopes that Fang will go Ragnarok mode, right?
Go sicko mode if you must.
Your empathy is your weakness kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So he starts torturing her and Fang's like shouting out, "Oh, Vanille!" And Orphan says, "Yet if we but summon the Maker, we will be granted the chance to begin again. All our sins absolved, and the world born anew. Submit, l'Cie, become Ragnarok, and lead us into light."
It's worth noting that the rest of the party is pretty much kind of just passed out, incapacitated.
Yeah. Vanilla and Fang are the ones.
Fang and Vanilla are the only ones who are still kind of conscious.
Yeah,
right.
Probably by his design.
This is super fucked up too, because Vanilla's in a whole lot of pain, just ensnared, like floating.
She's like
in the air.
screaming.
Yeah. But I think the plan kind of works because, like Barthandelus Orphan says that like we have no need for a flawed l'Cie, and Fang is just like, Orphan, I'll do it. I'll destroy you.
Yeah. And he releases Vanille right after that.
Yeah.
The lady side says, I can't tell if I haven't listened to this. I don't know if it's both or not.
I think it sounds like both.
I think it is both, but we see like the lips moving of certain ones.
Yeah. So She says, or they say, Ragnarok, the will to guide a world unto oblivion. Can you bear the sin of our salvation? Fang's like, you heard me. I'll do it.
Also, can you
Shut
bear
the fuck
sin
up
of
and
our
let me kill you.
salvation? You've been asking me to do this the whole time, and now when we're finally down to
Now
it,
you're
like,
like, now
are
you
you
have a
sure you can do
choice.
it?
Yeah.
Now fuck off.
It's like, do it. Are you sure you want to do this? Like,
Yeah,
are you
no,
really going to do
what?
it? Like,
Clippy
you'll do
pops
it.
up. It looks like you're trying to kill me to usher in an apocalypse, but also my own salvation and everyone's salvation.
you
Are you
won't
sure you want to
fucking
do this?
You won't do it.
Do it. You won't.
But Vanille like pleads with Fang to not do it. She says, "I'll be fine. Don't forget our promise. We promised to save Cocoon." And Fang says, "I made another promise too, to protect my family, and I have no fucking clue what happens next."
Yeah. I don't get this at all because
Why does she aim at Vanille and is like, "I'm going to kill Vanille now"?
it tracks with her character up to this point of being like, I will do anything to protect Vanille. I will protect Vanille against all else. She sees Vanille being tortured in front of her by God, and she's like, I will kill this God, even though it wants me to protect Vanille. And then Vanille's like, don't, we got to save everything. And she's like, I am going to kill you now.
Yeah, I know. It makes no sense. And then, like,
I'm going to kill you so that I can
in.
protect you? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
The party jumps in.
Yeah, Snow, like, grapples and stops her from doing it. Says, back off, and they're kind of fighting a little bit. And Saz is like, this ain't the time to be losing it, lady. And Lightning asks the question that we all... Lightning asks the question that we all want to know, like, what do you gain from hurting Vanille? We're in this together.
Like, why are you doing this? Yeah. And Fang's like, oh, this is my focus. No one's going to stop me. And, like, Fang manhandles the entire party pretty much. Like, just takes them out.
She fucking kicks Snow, like, into the fucking, like, like a home run style. Like, he's just out of there.
Yeah. And then she does the jump. Now she's not concerned with hitting Vanille anymore.
Yeah, like, maybe so here's going to be my generous read of this weird situation. I don't think she was going to hit Vanille. She was probably gearing up to try and do this, and everyone interpreted it as her trying to attack Vanille.
Or subdue her to some degree, like, don't try to stop me kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the way she knocked out Snow, maybe she was trying to do that to Vanille or something. I don't know. But she lifts her staff again, throws it into the air, it kind of transforms a little bit, and then she transforms, right?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
She doesn't transform yet, but the staff does gain some sort of energy. You see the energy come from the tail of Orphan to like charge it up or something like that.
Yeah.
And basically just turns everyone into Seath, right?
She turns all of our party into Seath when she lands.
Yeah, somehow.
Minus Vanille.
Like,
minus
what?
Vanille. Yeah, very odd. Again, like it's a series of incredible ideas, because the idea that at the very, very end, all of the l'Cie do in fact turn Seath is like incredible. Like, that on its own could be like, holy shit, they were so close and they lost, and now only Vanille and Fang are left. Like, if you did like a final battle where you only played them to like save the soul of their friends or whatever, that'd be incredible. It'd be so good. Like, I would be like incredibly moved by that.
Yeah.
But
there's actually really, really sad, like, quick couple second scene here where it's literally we're all just Seath. Like, everyone is just Seath except Vanille and Fang, and they're all laying down, and we see the one like big like fucked up hand of a Seath reaching,
trying to grab the gun blade
and fumbling it and stuff, and you're just like, fuck, dude, that's Lightning, and she still has enough cognizance to be like, I need to keep fighting, I need to grab my gun blade, and I just can't.
You can't do it. Yeah,
that fucking sucks. That's
so
so heartbreaking.
That's such like a powerful idea that I feel like they just choke, because they're not done choking it. They're not. They were like,
well, it's Chekhov's brand. We need there to be a Seath transformation at some point. Let's just fucking shoehorn it in. And like Fang is now like upset that it happened. I mean, understandably, it's obviously probably like a conflicting thing, but like
there's a lot that happens at once. Also, I'm curious if like she was again just trying to subdue them, but because we see like Orphan like charge up her staff or something like, mid like attack, she's like, I'm just gonna fucking kill these guys, like, and you're gonna whether you want to or not.
I wish it was more clear, because there's just so much conjecture with what we're saying now. There's nothing like in the game that says explicitly like, oh, this is this all makes sense and is good. Actually, it's just kind of
either way, it all just feels like manipulation. Like they're just trying to force, like shoehorn, like trying to force Fang.
That is like the general, like the overall thing or whatever. It's just done in a very weird
It's clunky
way.
for sure.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that just happens that like is never explained.
And Vanille is just lamenting. She says, after all we went through, just being like, we did all of this and now this is how it's ending. And the Seath kind of get up and start pummeling Fang. And she kind of just stands there and takes it. And she says, guess I deserve it after what I did. Are they my sins to bear for choosing salvation?
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Again, cool scene, like completely isolated to all of the characterization of everyone and stuff. Like, it's kind of cool, but like, it's just so fucking clunky that it's like, this is dumb.
Yeah. But
they dogpile her.
They dogpile her, and then she throws them all off.
Yeah, Vanille shouts, "Stop it!" And we kind of get a shot of Orphin just laughing it up, having a.
I actually love the energy. Like, even though I feel like a lot of the scene is not well done, I do love the energy of just like the l'Cie being fucking tortured, like at the very end of it. Because like, we're real strong, dog. We killed a fucking Adam man-child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every boss that's come along, we've been fucking them up, and then just you get to the very end, and like I said, like when we get to the end of the road in Erba, and like all these different scenes in the game, you get to the end of the road and realize that no, you're not gonna win. There's no way out of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we finally we've made our mind. We're gonna go fight Orphan or Daisley, whatever. We get to the very end, and it's still not enough. Still, the fal'Cie are just like, haha, fuck you. Now you're Seath. Eat shit. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god. So I actually do like the.
I'm sorry, I'm just like rewatching the scene over and over again. There's like, are they just? I think through this entire sequence, they're just like playing more tricks to just make Fang angrier and angrier. I think that's kind of
that's the idea. Yeah,
I think that
like
that gets,
including turning them to Seath. Like it's like, haha, you turn to the Seath, haha, now you're gonna kill me.
I think this.
haha, now you gotta kill me.
No backing out.
I think like the only like the generous read that I can give of it is later. There's a line that Hope says where like they didn't actually become Seath or anything, and this is all.
He
just kind
says it was fucking smoke and mirrors again, and I'm
yeah,
like,
they literally just say, "Oh, it's smoke and mirrors. I went to a dark place for a couple minutes or something." It's
so
like what?
lame.
And it's like
so lame.
It's like, why don't you just turn?
Like, I guess that's just we just have to accept it as that is what's going on. Like none of this is actually happening. It's all a dream. Ooh.
Because they're Pulse l'Cie, is that maybe why they can't actually turn them into like Seath or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, like, well, who fucking knows the connection between, like, especially with Orphan and shit, like, the fal'Cie, like, are they really against each other? Like, they're different factions, but are they really? Like, who the fuck knows? But the important thing is Barthandelus is laughing, Mommy fal'Cie is laughing, there's the dog pile on Fang. We kind of see her arm sticking out, and Vanille just says, give them back. And Orphan kind of just says, salvation is born of sacrifice, miracles of misery. From shattering shards, a new crystal legend will arise. Yes, let anger be your strength. And as this is happening, we actually see Fang's brand
knocks them all off. Her brand goes fucking haywire.
Her brand
actually,
is no longer.
Around.
Yeah, her brand is no longer like bleached out. It is full brand.
Yeah, there's a very, very short sequence, like it's like a couple frames that you can see the eye on Fang's brand like freaking out and looking around, and I was like, that's very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she turns into a big old bunch of energy, and then she turns into a fucking weird.
She turns into one of them there Ragnaroks.
Is that Ragnarok?
She kind of looks like a little bit like an Ifrit of some sort kind of thing.
Yeah, she looks like a little Eidolon, like...
This looks like a fusion of Fang and Ifrit to me. Like, she still has some humanoid, but she has like the
She looks like a fucking Final Fantasy VIII enemy.
Yeah, I can see that.
She's got her big, like, Super Saiyan hair that's also kind of, like, drippy.
Super Saiyan 3, to be exact. She's also got a cool-ass tail, not a monkey tail. She got, like, a lizard-like tail. Yeah. And she's kind of just, like, running around...
like a monkey?
Like, quadrupedally. And going to attack Orphan.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Digimon.
Oh, it's super Digimon.
Very weird. Like, I do like that. I think it's pretty cool, but it's very weird energy of, like, this fucking all-powerful god is torturing these people, but also ultimately he wants those people to kill him. So like as Fang's running at him with this like new fucking Super Saiyan Ragnarok mode or whatever, he's like, yeah, let's go kill the shit out of me. But
also he puts a shield over himself to kind of even just like drive her, frustrate her even more.
Yeah, but she breaks through that.
Yeah.
She like tears through it.
It's like, yes.
And he says, lo, the day of wrath is come.
Yeah, which is actually very menacing. I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Let's go.
Then we kind of just see a really nice supercut of like the most emotional moments in the scene. So it starts out with
all the sacrifice
Snow and
all
Hope.
our characters have been
Snow
through.
and Hope on the roof as the explosion happens, and Snow sacrificing himself to save Hope. Vanille standing there
Empathy.
getting ready to get shot by Saz, and Saz like almost shooting himself.
Also, I thought the eye looking around was an eye looking around. It's actually just a lens flare.
I think it's just a lens flare, right?
It's just a lens flare.
It's a Lindsay flare.
They had
Lindsay
my
flare.
favorite. Snow gets 2 of these sacrifices that he made, showing his ultimate sacrifice when he was all bandaged up and shirtless and holding his cool ass
His coat.
Yeah.
He fucked up his
He's
coat.
like, the drip, it does not matter. The only thing that matters is saving my friends. And then Psycom just lights it up, and I'm like, what a fucking stupid plan that was.
and
not
then
only that,
him
because that
getting
was
socked
also
in the
Yeah,
that
face.
was-
and then him
that was-
getting punched in the face.
So when Snow held
greatest
his,
hits.
we probably talked about it, but like when Snow held his jacket out, it's not just like, oh no, my cool coat is now red. It's like, motherfucker, that's your weapon. Like you need that to help us fight these things.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, but
well.
showing him getting punched in the face, which is always good.
Twice. Just over and over again.
Just yeah, I think Alex, you were saying we should make a YouTube poop of this where it's just Snow constantly getting punched and falling over, just over and over again.
It's the Matrix thing is just every time he does a little punch,
exactly.
you just see Snow get punched in the face.
Yeah, and then we get some.
Just him getting knocked over,
Yeah.
getting busted, like charging.
We get
in.
some Vanille, what's it called, narration. She said, "Anger didn't drive us. We just had things worth fighting for."
Is this the theme of The Last Jedi?
I never saw that film.
No, it was about fighting for the things we love, not the things we
Fighting
hate
for
or something like that.
the thrill of the fight, not for the love of the game, not for the anger of it all. Oh my god, I like how Orphan, mommy Orphan has a pauldron with her own face on it. That is a fucking look, dude. That is
Oh, does
real
she?
good. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll send you guys a pic. Dude, this part of the game looks cool as fuck. I do want to say.
It is true.
For as weird and clunky it is, it looks really good.
So we come out of this.
Also notice that gate is
I was
behind
gonna say
Orphan now.
Etro's gate is now behind Orphan.
Oh no, it's right behind him.
Watch out! Don't you're like talking shit about the fucking Etro's gate. Oh, don't tell me they're right behind me, aren't they?
Yeah, like, oh, that wasn't there before. There's a lot in this fucking series of cutscenes that's just kind of blink and you'll miss it. And
Very
I'm only
much
like
so.
catching it because we're rewatching
Yeah.
it. Like quarters. It's this is the emotional version of the fucking race.
Yeah, just as makes no sense. But yeah,
But matters more.
So we come out
Orphan's
of the
kind of talking now and says, yet again, how many
You have
times
failed.
must you fail?
Fang is now back to her normal
yeah, she's
form.
back to Fang form for whatever reason.
The power of friendship have prevented her from killing Orphan.
Her empathy kicked in again.
I guess that's what. Yeah, it's kind of how I took it. So he says, "Retake the form of Ragnarok, delivered that which we have been too long denied."
Yeah, and this is when
Ooh, this is awful. I love it.
Barthandelus Orphan like rings her up so she's hanging up. They start torturing her back and forth where they're healing her and then torturing her and then healing her and then
So the,
torturing her. Like basically
The torture segment of Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Yeah.
you're supposed to mash A enough.
yeah.
So-
You got to get a
so-
spoon so you can save Meryl.
I was gonna say if you don't do it enough, Meryl dies.
Don't use turbo controls. I'll know.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Kojima. Let people use turbo controls.
But yeah, so like he's torturing Fang. Vanille stands up and even though he's like torturing Fang, the Barthandelus version part of Orphan does look down and see Vanille. Like it like is paying attention to her or whatever. And he just says,
Dude, it is rough to watch the torture scene. Like they really sold it with like Fang's
It's
body just
wild.
hanging there and convulsing.
yeah.
Also, the fact that just like the whole cruelty of like healing her just
That's
enough to
so
do it again.
sick.
Like,
Yeah.
Very I saw the devil. But here's alternate thought about that. Imagine how fucking good that heel probably feels. It's like this is the most
like a
pain
cigarette.
I've ever had in my life. Oh my god. So immediate relief. It's like getting the misting spray when you're getting tattooed.
What like I guess like the way I was kind of seeing it and like why it's so like demented or whatever is that she's not even allowed to pass out. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
No, it's just straight up super fucked up. I'm sure the heel doesn't actually feel good at all.
no, yeah, but it is funny. But yeah, she's like, she says, Vanille, run. And Vanille's like, no, I swore I wouldn't run away anymore. I'd rather fight and lose than give up without even trying. And then, so hold on. Okay, so we just fought Orphan, right? And after a long pitched battle, it was discovered that, oh my God, we're still not strong enough to defeat Orphan. Incredible. And then fucking Fang turns into Ragnarok and fails to kill Orphan.
Fails to kill Orphan not due to a lack of strength, but due to a lack of will to do so because she remembered all the sacrifices of her friends.
And then some, like, I don't know, Firaga maybe from off screen comes in and just smokes his ass. Just fucking kills the shit out of him, beats him to death. Because what do you know? The other Lassie, the party members, are alive the whole time. They were just hanging out slightly off screen. Mm-hmm. Incredible. But they like smoke him.
Nora comes running in and they just fucking
because like it's not.
I like to point something out that I missed.
Oh, okay.
Everyone that's back, their brands are white now.
Yes, they're all bleached out. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think
so
also
they have like maybe a new focus.
I think when Fang awakens here, her brand is also, we see it glowing like white, so it's like bleached out right before she starts getting torture healed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But yeah,
so everyone's back.
Everybody's
fine.
back.
In a real Final Fantasy IV way, everyone's back and fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
whatever.
They come back. Like, yeah, Snow catches Fang as like she's kind of
really
off.
It's really cute. It's really sweet that that Snow catches Fang. Her getting blasted off is extremely funny.
Yeah,
she's just like fully like laying down, like not even limp. She's just like stiff as a board and just goes flying. And Vanille goes running after her, but Snow catches her. And Saz says something that I fully agree with, where he says, "Miracles out of misery. You got to be kidding me." He's just like, "This shit's dumb as fuck, dude."
This don't make no sense.
Yeah, and Lightning says, "Sure, we've all had better weeks." And Hope says, "Yeah, Fang. Who'd be dumb enough to swallow that crock?"
Jokey, okay.
Yeah, and then they kind of just go on and they're like, "Oh my God, you're alive. I can't believe it. Like, this can't be." And Lightning just says, "Could be more Falsey smoke and mirrors."
God.
Like,
who could say? It's probably not, actually. It's probably something else, actually, this time.
But they apologize to Fang, understanding that she's been under like additional pressure because of the Ragnarok situation. Lightning's like, "Oh, we made you go it alone, and we're sorry." So they like apologize to her about it. Vanille asks where everybody was. Like, where were you just off camera? What was going on? And Hope's like, "Oh, somewhere cold and dark, just thinking about everything that happened up till now." And it's like, oh. Okay, well, I guess that's where you go when you're not in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I'm guessing a similar weird zone when we were branded the first time.
Maybe.
We were just under the floor here T-posing because our assets still needed to be loaded.
And Snow says, "It was like I had a glimpse of the future. Everyone was smiling and laughing, even Sarah and even Light.
Teenage deaf boys, teenage deaf girls, and everyone was dancing."
Saz says, "I don't know, it was a new focus or something. I'm thinking, didn't really make sense, of course. I mean, knowing we were worm bait and all."
Want to take that one again. Didn't really make sense, of course.
Yeah, that's what he says. Very weird.
Saying what it's very meta, and none of this makes sense.
Yeah, as luck would have it, next thing I know, I feel somebody pushing me right along. And the Lightning says, "You were there with us too, together till the end." Very, very weird. We have a
I'm looking this up because I'm not sure if it's explained in this game, but like I said, the significance of the white brand is that they are no longer at risk of turning into a Seath.
Nice.
Okay.
Which means maybe Fang was woken up under some strange circumstances. Like,
yeah. Maybe so.
This whole thing, like, are we at the mercy of the maker or Etro or something? Just kind of put a blocker on this.
This all seems extremely.
It's just it's like the birth control. Patch.
Yeah. This all seems completely like this screams of like poor localization or cut content or there's just so many things where it's like I feel like the writing of the game probably has something way more coherent that just didn't make it into the final product that we have.
There's probably so much more world building that they just like, we don't have time, so we got to focus more on the emotional story than the
exactly. So
if the developers didn't, they would have become Seath.
Yeah, exactly. So I do want to kind of do more of a deep dive before next episode.
Sakaguchi would actually just like turn you into a sacrifice. If you
Sakaguchi, we just see his weird arm as a Seath reaching for like the dev kit, and it just fumbles away, and he's like, "No, we have to ship it now. It's not ready."
Who? This is Katase? Is that right?
This is Katase. It's
okay,
not,
yeah.
It's
I
not
couldn't remember.
Sakaguchi.
I was like, who's the foul C in this case? Yeah.
Someone's gonna be really pissed off about that. Nomura has become a sacrifice Seath with no focus. His focus was Kingdom Hearts.
But yeah, so
now we get more flashback of just Fang and Vanille getting real close to kissing, and then they don't, even though everyone wants them to.
And they say that they're a family. We have a new family now. It's the scene that we saw as soon as we were done writing Atamos. But then we're back in the present. Orphan's just getting fucking blowed up. He's like melting into the pool, and I was like, damn, wish I would have thought of casting Faraga. Apparently that fucks him up.
I don't think it was Faraga. I think we actually do know and have seen this attack before. I think Snow just finally hucked some more grenades at Orphan.
He got the grenades back. Okay,
yeah,
he got
the
Tiamat.
Ice grenades, and they finally thawed enough that...
I was gonna say, we had to get all the way to Tiamat. That's why we couldn't do it before.
Exactly, yeah.
I guess my headcanon is that they got beamed to and got like rebranded by Etro and just got some like some superpowers and then just
I love having to come up
with
cooler stuff than what that's actually in the source material.
I will go ahead and say
it's like, whoa, we got superlacies now.
In 13.2 and 13.3, I guess, I don't know if people call it that, but there are like data logs that do say that the goddess Etro is the one who like stops all of the shit from happening in the end here. Like all the yeah.
Kind of.
Is Etro also supposed to be the maker, or
I don't think so. I think Etro's like
one of like the deities,
a benevolent goddess, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Etro is also the one connected to the Eidolons, so it could be just more like it's just like the Eidolons are kind of to give us a gift, and then this other thing is also kind of like a gift of
Etro is like the union chairman who's like, okay, well, my Lassie workers, we're gonna negotiate here.
That's right. Yeah.
I feel like
weekends.
I feel like with that,
it's been a really rough week.
I mean, I think this story would be hard to actually have to give a gratifying ending with all of the like the important like main points of it, where it's basically fighting against fate, fighting against like destiny and all of that, and looking into the face of a god and being like, no, we are not going to do what you want us to do because we have our own free will. So I think it's a little fucking lame that it's like, even though it's not in this game, it's in later games or whatever, where it's like, oh, the reason that they actually survived was the good god made sure that the thing that they wanted to happen happened because they were so good that the good god gave them the good things.
There's
at
least a
fucking weak.
There's at least a very tiny amount of setup for that, in the way that we do know that a goddess, presumably Etro, is the one who froze Ragnarok the first time.
Right.
So there's some precedent.
I guess it's kind of like
it's still weak though.
It's kind of a thing where it's like no matter what, you will always be in the hands of fate to some degree. Your fate can change, and it's depending on which like fate isn't one static thing. There's multiple fates that could possibly happen, and it's like if you set the course for the best possible outcome, you can get that from an agent of faith.
It does seem weird that the entire game is based on like the willpower of humanity in the face of like unattainable odds and then only at the end to be like, yeah, but even at the end, you just have to rely on a benevolent force instead of a malevolent one to get out of it. And you're like,
it's and like I don't know what would be a satisfying end versus what we have here. But
easy. Watch this. Watch me write the end of FF13 and it fucking owns. So you ready? Boom. They all turn to crystal, and then FF13-2 takes place like 100 years later when they wake up.
Yeah, I mean, true. Yeah,
done. Easy.
Or another one. Instead of killing Orphan, we beat it within an inch of its life and have it become like enslaved in some sort of tiny cocoon that we somehow make because of whatever, through the willpower of men. And we keep it trapped in this stasis of being alive so that cocoon may still flourish on humanity's terms and not being at the Falsi.
Thank
you for listening to my fanfic.
Can I ask y'all a question real quick?
Yeah.
Since I am actually having a great time talking about this, should we save the last boss and the ending for next time?
Yeah.
And just spend our remaining 5 minutes being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no.
Why is this dumb?
I really like that.
Yeah, we're getting on so many side tangents. There's no way we're going to unravel everything.
No, it'd be like a 4-hour episode.
Do we want to do that for the next episode, or with the ending and everything, or do we want to do missions?
I think
and then
we
get into all of that?
should, only because we are in the middle of an action sequence, and
True.
it would be weird to stop the sequence and be like,
yeah, we'll figure it out for next week. I mean, if you're following along at home, you're gonna have to watch the next cutscene anyway. It doesn't really matter when we cover it. I feel like.
Yeah.
You'll
let's
see
do
it.
that next time. And in the meantime, just know that we're all not very disappointed, but a little weirded out by the way that this ending is.
The shit's happening way too fast.
I also
So
do want
much
to say
shit.
I didn't die to the next boss, which is basically just like a, hey, it's a gimme. But I got fucking close.
Letro's gate's right there, so maybe everyone got slooped up in that thing.
Yeah.
But hey,
What a game.
What a game.
What a game.
Heroes never die.
Heroes
never die. Actually, it'll be exciting because we can actually start next episode with the epic dialogue. So that'll actually be decent.
Okay, so what is the last piece of dialogue that we talked about? I want to make a note of this for next week when we start recording so we don't glaze
the
over anything.
flashback that Fang has, remembering that the party is her family now.
Right. Okay. I do see that, we promised, didn't we, is what Vanille says on my screen, so.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing.
That's, yeah. So.
Anyway, Orphan, though. What a weird guy.
Fucking
what a weird little guy. I like,
finally got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I like that when we're referring to Orphan and we call them them because it is a multiple
it's
them
definitely
as well.
them.
I
I always felt
funny.
weird talking, because obviously we're so used to Barthandelus, which is very coded to be he, but I was like, what pronouns do we use? Literally, it's like they.
Yeah, it's the only
but
one
at some
that
point,
works.
if we're talking about, the Barthandelus one, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a holy trinity.
There's Minerva,
so.
there's the baby Orphan.
I feel like
it's not Orphan if his mommy and daddy are here.
I do feel somewhat that this is kind of trying to be like the 3-dimensional version of Kefka's Tower or whatever, or the creatures all entangled in each other that you fight before Kefka in FF6. Yeah, very weird. Get a load of this guy. Incredible.
Get a load of this guy.
Get a load of this guy.
How about that guy?
Yeah, there's really what else to say? What else to say than what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I still love this game, by the way. It hasn't diminished my.
Oh yeah,
love for
no.
it.
I absolutely adore this game. I think a lot of times, I mean, I'm a fan of Stephen King and the stories that Stephen King writes. So, having said that, having good endings. I'm trying to think of a nicer word than just good. Having
divisive.
No, not divisive. Having satisfying endings is not really my top priority.
I understand. Yes, okay.
No. There's some, my favorite movies don't explain, and this is what happened. And
Stephen King's whole thing was sometimes it's way more about the journey than the destination, which is a really nice and poetic way to say, hey, I fucking fumble endings sometimes.
It's a tone poem.
Deal with it, nerds. It doesn't. I had a fucking blast with this game.
Can I say one of my favorite, it's a very, very small tangent, take me 2 minutes. One of my favorite endings to anything is the ending to the manga Alien 9. Have I talked
You mentioned
about
that
this?
last episode.
Did I do it last time?
Yes.
I was going to say, I was like, I feel like I did this recently. Anyway, sorry, never mind.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Cut that out. Cut it all
Small
out.
tangent gets
or
even
leave it in
smaller.
and make me look like a fool. Either way. Or Twin Peaks. The ending of the 3rd season of Twin Peaks is also
I think you also talked about that.
God damn it. Did I really? Cut all that out or leave it in.
Keep it all in. Keep it all in. I also want to talk quickly about a tweet that Cole Ross of DuckFeed made
I've
recently.
magfested since I talked to y'all last, okay?
Yeah, it's true.
My brain is fried.
That is true, yeah. And not just magfested, which is psychic damage on anyone who goes.
This reminds me of Disco Elysium.
But Cole Ross recently tweeted, hey, if you have a podcast, just do tangents. Don't precurse it with this is a tangent, but he's because the people who that's going to piss off are going to be even more pissed off when you say that. Just fucking do it and have fun. And I'm hell yeah, I'm going to try and bring that energy along with me all the time. Because if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know it's 90% tangent.
Well, fuck that guy. Orphan, that is.
Orphan, not the
Not Cole
gentleman
Ross.
Cole Ross, who was a fucking treasure and everyone.
No,
should...
they're awesome.
So let's put a bookmark in this long ass sequence. So I'm sure there's going to be lots more to talk about.
So much more to talk about. We're like
next week, we promise.
Next week, we finally get to Cookieville minimum security orphanarium.
Next time, we finally get to the fireworks factory. It's happening. God, I like just talking about it makes me sleepy. It makes me sleepy talking about the end of that fucking game.
I could go to sleep for 660
666 years, dude.
Is that what it was in the book?
Yes. I remember being very fucking annoyed by that. Being like, that's so dumb. I love it. That's a good way to sum up most of Final Fantasy 13, I think, is God, this is so dumb. I fucking love it.
I can't get enough of this bullshit.
Yeah, I fucking love it. More of it, please.
I started 13.2 and I'm like, oh, that's what?
Yo, that 13.2
it took me about an hour of playing that game to kind of get a vibe of what the fuck how it sits in the linear.
Yep.
Maybe
you can't use the word linear because
the chronology of the games. Like, how does this?
Maybe I should download that on Steam and just play it on my Steam Deck or something.
It's so worth it. 13.2.
It does not play well on the Steam Deck.
Well, then fuck me, I guess.
Especially because it has QuickTime events.
It does have QuickTime events.
It lags a lot through them.
Oh no.
Well, we'll get there. When
Lightning Returns runs fine though.
We'll get to FF13 too when we get to it next season.
We're definitely playing 13 too. Yeah.
We just can't get enough of 13, and we know that our listeners can't get enough of 13.
But
13-2, The Way of Water.
13-2, Armed and Fabulous. I made that same fucking joke about FF10, and it made so much more sense with FF10.
Well, in the meantime, until then, Alex, would you like... I mean, I guess to just murder us. Would you like to finally become Ragnarok and bring the day?
Would you like to dive bomb yourself into some goo? And
I was thinking that was the other one I was thinking.
Into one gross, weird creature known as a podcast.
So let's all do the outro together the same time.
Oh my god!
we gotta do a Photoshop of all three of our faces, like as Orphan. I want to be the baby.
Yeah. Well, either way, thank you to Masashi Amauzu for the game music. You can leave us a review.
Yeah, Masashi, leave us a review.
Yeah, please.
As a thank you to us.
He hates it.
Well, we'll rate you on Spotify and iTunes if our listeners do to us.
Bandcamp Friday's got to be coming up soon. We can go to Masashi Hamauzu's Bandcamp and
I would definitely. Yeah.
AKA Sony.com probably.
Yeah.
You can call us or text us at 530-MATERIA. You can find us at EveryFNFF on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, and hop on our Discord for more shenanigans. I'm posting lots of just bullshit from this. But yeah, podcast out of misery. You've got to be kidding me.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.